just starting to get in on that severe storm coming up out of Okmulgee County with a hail and wind threat. Nothing that's showing up, at least right now, as a tornado threat with the storm ongoing to the south of Tulsa. But we'll just widen the view just a touch so you can see where that is in relation to Tulsa. And that continues to be not far from Beggs. We're watching that closely. Our own storm tracker, Jesse Post, is located in that zone, so he'll give us any reports if he is concerned. But right now that cell is moving to the northeast at about 40-45 miles per hour, the heaviest of it passing beyond Beggs on Highway 16, east-northeastward, so Haskell maybe up to Coweta next in line to get this severe weather. We'll have more on our tornado-warned storm with Chief Meteorologist James Adelot.
Yeah, it looks like we may have another tornado down with it right now, northeast of Tahlequah. As we zoom in, I want to zero in on where that rotation is. First, we'll look at velocity. And again, we're looking right in here, very bright pixels of red and orange and very bright pixels of green right next to each other. We check correlation coefficient, and there's the dropout right here. Tahlequah is just below the banner. Let me scoot the map up. So we're looking just northwest of Eldon. The good news here, west of Highway 10, we can give you the all clear, and south of Highway 62, we can give you the all clear from this circulation. But this is evidence that we have a tornado down with this storm right now. Tornado is occurring. The rotation is slightly weaker than it was just a couple of minutes ago. This is passing to the north of Eldon. We look into reflectivity. You can kind of see the way the red part of this is oriented back from southeast to northwest. That is the area of rotation that has produced another tornado touchdown with it. So we're looking just to the north of Eldon, and that's where we've got a likely tornado happening right now. That's going to race out of Cherokee County and into northern parts of Adair County. I'll do another track on that in just a bit. Let me widen out this view, and from that spot just to the northeast of Tahlequah right now, we can give you the track to the northeast at about 40 miles per hour, and that's going to be moving right up toward Proctor. It's very close to the Nickel Family Preserve right now. That's just basically to the west of the Adair-Cherokee County line. We're looking at toward Chance and Ballard and Mosley. Current track of this is keeping it north of U.S. Highway 62, but it's going to be really close, especially very close to the Cherokee-Adair County line. Stillwell, we are just fine here. National Weather Service has gone with confirmed tornado, as they have, of course, looking at that same data we are to see that tornado debris being lofted up into the radar signal. We come all the way in again. Look at those bright reds here, brighter greens here. Our rotation would be located right here. So northeast of Tahlequah now. This will be close to Highway 62 between Proctor and Eldon. You can see how it kind of makes that jog back to the north as it comes over that county line, going back to correlation coefficient. We still have that dropout. That's what this green is. This is debris being lofted up from whatever the tornado is hitting and getting up into the radar signal, and that's reflecting back to us. The debris, most likely trees, is what we're hoping for, east now of Highway 10 and east of the Illinois River, but that is the spot. So we've got a tornado down with this now. And again, tornado safety precautions, critically important. And as we look at some of those, if you're in a home or an apartment, safe room, basement, lowest level, center part, smallest room, cars, mobile homes, outdoors, you've got to find sturdy shelter. Schools or offices, follow the tornado plan. We're after 5 o'clock, kids home before mom and dad get home. Try to get in the middle of your home. If you're in a mobile home, you got to get to some sturdy shelter there. But that is the safety rundown on those. We'll check again velocity. This has gotten a little bit broader. Remember, just a few minutes ago, we had really bright greens and bright reds right next to each other, and that was a stronger rotation. We still have evidence that we've got lofted debris up in this. This is to the northeast of Tahlequah right now. So we're really focused on this storm. This is the only tornado-warned storm in our coverage area. It has moved east of Tahlequah right now. We can, again, give the all clear to everybody west of Highway 10, including Tahlequah, as this will move very quickly into parts of Adair County just in the next few minutes. The rotation continues basically right on or just to the northwest of Highway 62, and straight to the north of Eldon. So this is well east of Tahlequah and continuing to move to the northeast. Again, one more track of this rotation up to the minute track, taking it to the northeast at about 40 miles per hour, and that's going to be close to Chance, Ballard. If this holds together 30 more minutes, we're looking at the Watts community, and that's right on Highway 59 at the state line. So that is what we're looking at very closely. Severe thunderstorm warning around this circulation as well. Let's check in with meteorologist Mike Grogan, also watching this. And Mike, again, short term at least, the rotation does look a little bit weaker.
That is good news, but unfortunately we have a number of other storms that we're keeping a close eye on. We do have a severe storm up near Coffeyville right now. That's lifting north with a hail threat primarily. Another severe storm just south of Tulsa. That will affect parts of the far southeastern parts of the metro area, Coweta, Haskell, northeast of Beggs now, and then another storm that's coming closer to McAlester at this time, at least into Pittsburg County. It is not warned in our immediate viewing area, but the storm downstream, down towards Cole County, is producing a possible tornado. There is a warning for that just beyond our viewing area, but I have put a track on this, and that will, let me go back to that. It will take it to locations basically getting closer to our viewing area as early as 5:55 if you're in Kiowa, the Pittsburg area close to 6, Savannah by 6:10, and Chambers by 6:16. That, if it maintains its general track, that is where we'll be most concerned about the next tornado threat emerging, assuming the other storms in our viewing area do not have that immediate threat. Now back to the storm at hand that did just produce a tornado in far eastern Cherokee County. Now that circulation is, well, pretty close to where the banner is, just north of Highway 62, not far from the Nickel Family Preserve, and lifting pretty quickly. Eventually, Watts is going to be probably the next community downstream that might encounter the rotation. And once again, that warning has been cut to just include Adair County. If you're in Delaware County, that warning has been canceled for you for the time being, as this is likely on a slightly more southerly track, not likely getting north of Highway 412, at least in the state of Oklahoma. So that is kind of what we have on the look at velocity. As we flip over to reflectivity here, this shows the heavy rain and the hail that is likely falling near the Nickel Family Preserve. The worst of it well beyond Tahlequah at this point, but seeing an uptick in the heavy rainfall and just a profound amount of lightning as well in Cherokee and Adair County at this time. In fact, this will continue to race eastward, and I just want to show that the hail potential has maybe dropped a tiny bit on it. Still a powerful storm, severe weather even without a tornado. Winds might be upwards of 60 to 70 miles per hour with that hail reaching quarter size as it moves further into Adair County. And just the wide view, it shows the lightning. You can't even see the storms here, but I just want to point out that this is a very electric storm, along with the other ones extending all the way up to Veneta. Even the ones that aren't officially severe thunderstorm warned are still heavy lightning producers, and we're even getting lightning into the south sides of Tulsa County as well. So that continues to be a threat if you have outdoor plans. If you're hearing the thunder, move indoors to stay safe. We're also keeping an eye on cells that are starting to form near Piney and Osage County. These are not terribly strong. They are not quite as sustained as earlier, or at least showing signs of rapid intensification. If that does happen, we'll let you know, because this could be the third round that approaches some areas that have yet to see severe weather this afternoon, now into the evening hours. The final severe storm we're watching is on the southeast side of the Tulsa metro area, Coweta to Haskell. Next up to get perhaps up to quarter-size hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. This appears to be staying south of Tulsa itself. The rain extends up to about Bixby and the south end of Broken Arrow. Just so you know, looking outside, Tulsa area looking fine at the moment, but as we look at our tornado watch, this goes till 7 o'clock for all of eastern Oklahoma, 9 o'clock for our southeastern Kansas counties. And we do have that tornado watch clear into central Oklahoma. As I mentioned, storms are trying to form there, and if they do form and take hold, they could also pose a severe other threat, including the threat for a tornado or two. Our timeline shows that storms will quickly evolve eastward, likely into Arkansas by the 6 o'clock hour for the threat that we're ongoing right now. And then we're going to watch for these storms. As they fire up, our attention turns to that direction and what comes into southeastern Oklahoma. These likely become the most dominant cells into our evening hours, and we'll continue to see that threat expand eastward with time. A new severe thunderstorm warning coming into us right now. That warning will basically take us to places, check it out right here. Okay, that's an extension of the warning from the tornado warned storms into Pittsburg County. Not a tornado warning yet, but severe thunderstorms approaching McAlester and points south and westward here in the next 30 to 45 minutes. We'll talk more about that in a moment, but another check of our tornado warned storm in Cherokee and Adair County. Back to you, James.
Yeah, continuing to see that tornado warning, metro area. We are in the clear right now as we look at other severe thunderstorms. The storm that dropped all of that hail in Tulsa earlier continues to barrel to the north, passing out of Montgomery into Labette County in Kansas. It has produced 69-mile-per-hour winds in South Coffeyville and at the Coffeyville Airport, and continuing to lift toward the north, crossing the state line. One tornado warning, as Mike said, just to the southeast of Tulsa, and we're looking in northern Adair County, very close to Proctor right now. We'll zoom into that. I want to show you velocity because, again, we've seen these things kind of ebb and flow a little bit. We've seen an increase and then a decrease in rotation. I'm kind of alternating between two radars right here. Looking at Fort Smith, we've got some purple in there, and that's an indication that we might have some suspect data. We'll come back over to Tulsa, and you can see the circulation continues defined, pretty well defined on Highway 62. In fact, it may have started to produce a new circulation right in here. So we're going to watch that closely right along Highway 62 in parts of Adair County. Again, Stillwell off the bottom of your screen, West Siloam Springs, Watts area in here too. Let me zoom into this and we'll take just a closer look. We'll take a look at correlation coefficient in just a bit. Here's the Proctor area. So this is very close to Proctor. We look at correlation coefficient. I don't see any dropouts here that are close to that velocity indication that we've got rotation. But the orientation of the storm, when we look straight up at reflectivity, again, laid back northwest to southeast. These are spots that are more conducive to generate these spin-up type tornadoes. We go to velocity, and I'll pinpoint where I think that highest level of rotation is. So it's very close to Proctor, maybe just to the east of Proctor right now, and right along Highway 62 that basically follows the Illinois River back over toward Christie. So this is going to be moving to the northeast. It's going to be very close to Christie and Strawberry Spring, likely staying just to the north of Westville and Addie Lee as it continues moving to the northeast. Again, one more check of correlation coefficient. Not seeing any evidence that we've got any debris lofted here, but as we've talked about now, east of the Adair Cherokee County line, northern Adair County still in the threat zone. We can give you the all clear in Cherokee County now to the west of the Adair Cherokee County line. You can actually kind of see the bend in this radar indication, and that gives us an idea. We've got a very powerful updraft with the storm. Add in velocities, got some reds here. They're not very bright. The green's actually a little bit brighter here just to the northwest of the Proctor community right now. And that's going to be where the most likely spot is if we had a tornado being produced. We've also had a lot of very strong wind in that as well. But for now, thankfully, we're not seeing any evidence that we have debris being lofted up into the radar signal. But that's still a fairly strong rotation now that's taking place in parts of extreme western Adair County. So we're looking just to the northeast of Proctor, right in here. We've zoomed way in, so we got some purples in here and those greens. So we're going to keep that going. We do have, we talked about that just a few minutes ago of the winds in South Coffeyville. There's a report that we've got some trees down there, not associated with tornadoes, but definitely associated with that significant thunderstorm that brought all the hail and some wind into the metro area. So let's do an updated track on this. We'll go back to Mike and get an update on the rest of the storms in eastern Oklahoma. The rotation right here, moving to the northeast. Again, it looks a lot more disorganized than it was when it was lofting debris up and we had a confirmed tornado. Very close to Strawberry Spring, and then Chance and Ballard and Watts through 540, and then maybe West Siloam Springs if it can get that far up into the northeastern corner of Adair County and southeastern Delaware County, and then across the state line into Siloam Springs just after 548. But officially the tornado warning continues until 545. And the rotation, again, a little weaker. Let's zero in on it. look at the very latest radar data, and then Mike will take us right back into the metro area, give you an update on the southeast side of the metro, what's happening with those strong to severe storms there. This rotation is a tiny little bit stronger, which is why the tornado warning continues. Want to look at correlation coefficient. Don't see any significant indication or consistent indication that we've got any dropouts with that, but it's still a dangerous storm, dangerous circulation, and it will move right across northern Adair County. In fact, there is a new tornado warning just issued. Let's take a look at that, because that's going to get into Pittsburg County with that circulation still in parts of Hughes County or Cole County. Yeah, right in here, and maybe northern Atoka County too. Let's look at velocity. Yeah, that's look how bright these colors are compared to what we were looking at in Adair County. So that is a strong evidence that we've got rotation taking place right in here. Now, notice this is also buried deeply in some of the heaviest rain. So we'll put the rotation right here, just to the north of Colgate in Cole County. Let me expand the view. We'll do a track on this. And as we check that Pittsburg County warning, this storm also has some hail in it too as it moves up into Pittsburg County, but want to do, again, the track off the rotation here just to the northeast of Colgate. Not technically our county until it moves out of Cole County and into Pittsburg County, but this is moving northeast at about 40 miles per hour. That's going to be very close to Kiowa and eventually Savannah. So a lot of people on Highway 69 between the Indian Nation Turnpike and Atoka. If you know anybody making that drive either up from Dallas or south from Tulsa toward Dallas, give them a quick call and let them know they need to wait this one out, probably in Henrietta, before it passes. Let this thing pass right in front of them as we continue to watch that circulation. Again, no confirmed tornado with it, but that's some strong rotation moving up into Pittsburg County. So that's our second tornado warning in our viewing area, the second tornadic storm. Let's check in with meteorologist Mike Grogan.
If you're just joining us, perhaps from Adair County or from Pittsburg County, this is what you need to be thinking about. Going to that lowest, most interior room right now, if you find yourself in that warning, that is the type of shelter you need. A house or a building that you're in, make sure that's where you find yourself. Wearing shoes. If you've got a helmet, might seem silly, but wear it. It protects you from flying debris. A blanket or pillow can help with that as well. In your shelter, if you've got a place where you can plug in a device, keep them charging, because you can stream us on your phone, you can stream us on your tablet, and we'll let you know when you're in the all clear. But right now, no part of Green Country, or at least part of Pittsburg County, is in the clear quite yet, and most of Adair County is still watching out for this. We do have an extension now. Actually, this is a new tornado warning coming out of far eastern Delaware County. This would be just to the northeast of Concord right now. As we flip over to velocity, what we'll find, yep, there it is right there. Very close to the Arkansas state line right there. So this will just be in the Fox 23 viewing area for a few moments. This storm is likely moving at about 45 miles per hour, and it will be set to cross into Arkansas here in the next 10 minutes or so. I'll put a track on here though, just so we have note of this. It will continue its way through Ionia by 5:37, the Sulphur Springs area by 5:56, and moving at 55 miles per hour. So that means it's moving even quicker out of our hair. So that is the latest track on that. So this will be a fast mover as it moves into Delaware County. I'm going to clear that track right there. Our velocity signature with the wind going toward the radar site here and away, that's our circulation, and it's just a few miles from the state line at this point in far eastern and southeastern sides of Delaware County. This would be south of the road that leads between Jay and Gravette, and north of 412 and even north of 116 to the northeast of Concord. So if you're watching this from Concord, this is not an immediate concern for you. You're just getting a thunderstorm. All right. If you find yourself in one of these locations, this is what you should be doing, and we'll let you know when you're in the clear. In the Tulsa area right now, we have storms on the south sides of the metro area that are severe. One of several storms that are warned at this time. We did get 69-mile-per-hour wind gusts reported out of South Coffeyville. We even had earlier with these storms a 67-mile-per-hour wind gust in Skiatook. And checking on power outages right now, we have about 8,000 customers now in the Tulsa area without power, about 1,000 without power in Bartlesville, and a couple thousand without that in Muskogee. So that is another impact we're seeing from these storms. But the cell that's moving just clipping past Tulsa County on the far southeast side continues to move north northeast quickly towards Coweta. Our hail threat is the main thing that we're noting with this particular storm. As we take the track here, you'll notice it will continue through Coweta by 5:31, Afton landing at 5:40, and the Neodesha area by 5:46, bypassing at least the immediate part of Tulsa here in the next few minutes. But here's our next warning coming on in. This is the one that had the more pronounced circulation as of late, getting ready to cross the county line into Pittsburg County. A little closer view right now, this would be south of Ashland there, and then the circulation still quite noted here on radar. About 5 or 6 miles from the southwestern corner of Pittsburg County. Not quite to the Fox 23 viewing area yet, but that storm likely moving at a pretty rapid clip, probably between 40 and 55 miles per hour. It is going to eventually be approaching Highway 69, and eventually we'll be taking it up possibly beyond Savannah towards McAlester. McAlester, you're not in the warning yet for a tornado. You are in a severe thunderstorm warning, however, as this storm will be pretty quick to move into a more populated area. This will also be found not far from the Indian Nation's turnpike eventually, but that is still a little ways down the road. So that is where we're looking at there. Back up to the circulation in Adair County. It's distinct. It's moderately strong. At this time, it is north of Highway 62 by just a few miles, passing just north of Christie, and still angling towards Highway 59 between Watts and Westville. Do think it's going to pass just north of Westville. We're going to check the correlation coefficient here to see if we have any drop. No significant drop here, indicating that we likely don't have much debris. There still are likely powerful winds with or without a tornado at this time. But as we look at the hail potential, that has dropped a little bit with that storm. So maybe a slight decrease in intensity overall. But overall, this will continue to race eastward. We do have that tornado warning for another few minutes with the storm with just an incredible amount of lightning there from Delaware County down into Cherokee County. Also hearing the thunder on the south side of Tulsa from that severe storm. We're keeping an eye on storms also trying to form off to the west of Tulsa. Right now, that activity is not sustaining itself quite well, but still a few showers out that way. We'll keep a close eye. There is a stronger cell approaching Stillwater at this time. As we take a look at our tornado watch, this does take us through 7 o'clock. Likely to go even beyond that for the evening hours. We'll continue to monitor this threat. Once again, a number of power outages, 3 tornado warnings, 1 crossing into Arkansas as we speak from Delaware County into far northwestern Arkansas, Adair County and Pittsburg County. So 3 separate warnings we're tracking at this time. Chief Meteorologist James Adelot has an update on those warnings.
Yeah, again, as we look in Tulsa, we are dry in Tulsa. Severe thunderstorm, though, continues far southeastern Broken Arrow and into the Coweta area too. Hail is the primary concern here. And again, this is going to continue southeast of the city. We're in a little bit of a lull in Tulsa. You can watch this moving to the northeast. This is going to move across Wagner into Rogers County and then Mays County while Tulsa stays quiet from this. Let's look east of us and we'll go to velocity. We've got 2 ongoing tornado warnings. The first one now is in Benton County in Arkansas. It is cleared out of Delaware County, so we can give the Oklahoma side of the state line for this Delaware County circulation the all clear and concentrate now in northern Adair County, where we still continue to see this rotation north of Highway 62. Let me come in just a little bit further here and we can get your Strawberry Spring. So this is right in the Strawberry Spring and Chance and Proctor area. You can see we have no sign that we've got debris being lofted up into the radar, but the storm continues strong. It continues also to have that rotation in it, which makes me think that it still has a tornado threat. Now this is going to continue moving northeast, very close to Chance and along and just north of Highway 62. So for Strawberry Spring, Chance, tornado precautions, lowest level, center part, smallest room. If you're in your home, that's what to do. Now, if you're in a car, mobile home, or outdoors, find sturdy shelter. Schools, offices, most of those, we're getting late enough not having to worry about that, but that safety plan, always the best idea there. We go back to radar, and again, we check velocity. We still have some circulation here just in the Strawberry Spring area. The brighter greens here, the brighter reds here. Let me angle that down just a little bit and we'll see if we can get a little different look at it from the Fort Smith radar. Again, same story, some brighter reds here, brighter greens here. It's not got a really tight focus like what we saw earlier when it did produce the tornado that did loft some debris. Now we focus in Pittsburg County. Let's go to velocity. We'll zero in on where that circulation is. Looks like we're very close to the Pittsburg and Cole County line. We're looking northwest. Okay, report of a tornado near Wardsville. So that's a sign you may be familiar with in that drive along Highway 69. Again, if you know somebody making that drive, they need to wait this one out in Henrietta going south, or they need to wait this one out in Durant going north. But the tornado circulation would be right here, moving to the northeast at about 40 to 45 miles per hour. This is going to be very close to Kiowa, the town of Pittsburg and Pittsburg County, and the community of Savannah, just to the southwest of McAlester. Also the Army ammo plant, very close to Savannah. Need to be taking tornado precautions here too. Let's zoom in right into the rotation part of this storm. Again, we're seeing really bright greens, in fact going over to blues, and then we've got these bright reds. So the circulation is now east of Highway 31 or really close to it, maybe right on top of Highway 131. So we'll put that circulation here. We're zoomed way in. That's Highway 131. That takes you from 69 over to Wardville. So we did see that. Okay, yep. So tornado confirmed near Wardville, which is again right along Highway 131 going east of Highway 69. Let me clear that off. We'll go back to reflectivity. And again, here is Highway 69, Kiowa. This is the Osage County line right here. 131 is the turn back toward Wardville. And as we get back into Cole County, here's the Colgate community here. So the circulation is to the northeast of Colgate. We'll go back to velocity. Take this over just a little bit more. As this circulation moves across the extreme northwestern corner of Osage County, it will then transition into parts of Pittsburg County, one of our coverage area counties. So confirmed tornado with the storm, moving towards Savannah at the tip of the tornado warning box, and Kiowa, both along Highway 69. Again, you know somebody on Highway 69 making that drive to Dallas or from Dallas, give them a call, tell them to wait it out coming north in Durant or coming south. Need to wait that out at Henrietta. So this is a dangerous storm, and this is a very busy thoroughfare too. New severe thunderstorm warning issued. We'll get to that in just a bit. We want to get back into our Adair County storm and give you an update on that tornado warning, because hopefully that will be moving out of the state fairly quickly and over into Washington County and Arkansas. If anything, this may be angling a little bit more toward the east. It looks like to me the brightest velocity is going to be closer to Highway 62 and Highway 59 right there. But again, it's no sign at all that we have any debris loft with this at all. So that's certainly good news. Go back to reflectivity. But the tornado warning continues Adair County until 5:45. The other tornado warning, as we talked about, in Pittsburg County, and that's until 5:45 as well. I'm going to zoom in one more time. We'll take a look at the velocities. We'll bring that in, and there's our strong circulation in right along the Pittsburg, Atoka, and Cole County line, so right along Highway 131. This has had a confirmed tornado with it. It's not lofted debris up high enough to be picked up in the radar data here. Again, we have some stripes. That's not what we're looking at when we're looking for debris, but again, it's still a strong circulation, and that's going to be moving across the northwestern corner of Osage County and right up into Pittsburg County. Now, folks around the McAlester Airport and the city of McAlester, you're next in line for this. We'll see the exact motion, but you will certainly be in line for the next tornado warning if this holds together. Now, to give you an idea of just how volatile conditions are, every county in the Fox 23 viewing area is under a tornado watch for now. That means conditions are favorable for these thunderstorms to rotate and produce tornadoes. Look further to the west. Now we've got severe thunderstorm warnings in effect in parts of Peine County too, and that is what's likely the last round of strong to severe thunderstorms coming our way. Logan County, Peine County, severe thunderstorm right now, and that's lifting up towards Stillwater. Thankfully, campus empty, class out for the semester, and summer term hasn't started yet. let's check in with meteorologist Mike Grogan. And Mike, we continue to track 2 tornado warnings in our area, northern Adair County and southwestern Pittsburg County.
Yep, and many other storms, even the ones that aren't warned, are still producing gusty winds. A number of reports of 50+ mile-per-hour winds coming out of far northeast Oklahoma, even from the cells north of the tornado and severe thunderstorm warnings. We are focused in on those storms also just southeast of Tulsa right now, and of course watching what's ongoing to our west as our next potential round. Just to the southeast of Tulsa, we do have still a very potent storm near Coweta, getting a sense of maybe some outburst or downburst winds in association with this, at least in the past 10 minutes. On the northwest sides of Coweta, just southeast of Broken Arrow, a fairly populated area, so there might be a little bit of wind damage that may have just occurred. We'll flip over here to the hail indicator, and it also shows that is ongoing. Likely this is northeast of its location now, closer to the Muskogee Turnpike. But let's jump over to velocity and check out if we can find some strong winds. And we're noting some winds moving towards the radar site near Coweta and away from it here. So there's likely near the Highway 51 junction just beyond the Creek Turnpike a little bit, maybe about 5 or 6 miles. There might be some strong winds kind of flowing out from the storm. It's the opposite of a threat of a tornado throw, but straight line winds still can do damage. 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts possible with what we see there lifting through western Wagner County. Back to this particular view, we'll take a little track on this and take it northeastward from the hail core near Coweta, and we will expand that just a bit further up the road here from Coweta clear to the northeast, and it's in a fairly rural location, so we're not getting any track there. But as I clear that and just draw it one more time, we're going to notice this will eventually take it up towards Inola by 550, Maisie by 554, Choteau by near 6 o'clock, and Maisie landing at about the same point. So this will be approaching Highway 412 in the eastern parts of Rogers County and the western parts of Mayes County. Not a tornado threat, but hail and winds are the concern with this particular storm. Back to the south, our tornado warning ongoing for Pittsburg County till 6 o'clock. This cell, within it, we have that potential tornado. We have a confirmed one that we just had reported, in addition to hail and wind threats as well. A little closer in, the heaviest of the storms getting ready to move into Kiowa, Savannah, already pouring rain in McAlester. Latest signature on radar. Now what we're doing is we're looking a ways from the radar site. So this is giving us a look at the winds a couple thousand feet above the surface. They can still give us some indication of what's happening at ground level, and it would be north of Highway 131, that is, right there, where we're getting the most noted rotation. So that's kind of on your trek as you head down towards Dallas. That's just one place to be aware of right now. This would be kind of near that power plant and lifting up towards Kiowa as the most immediate concerned location or community in the way. Savannah there to follow, and if it holds together, McAlester maybe over towards Hartshorne would be a spot we'll focus in on. Right now, McAlester, not in a tornado warning, but if you're watching us from there, go ahead and be thinking about where you'd be headed in your shelter. If that shelter is not cleared for you and your whole family, make sure it is in the next 15 minutes. This will be approaching central Pittsburg County probably in the next 20 minutes or so. So we want you to have that heads up as well. Back to the other tornado warned storm. A broad rotation but distinct on radar now to the south of Watts, approaching Highway 59 there. This will continue to advance towards the Arkansas line, likely passing just north of Westville and to the south of Watts. But if you live in either one of those communities, remain in your shelter. If you're around Christie or in the western half of Adair County, you are in the clear for the tornado threat. Right now it's broad. We'll check out correlation coefficient, and still no real indication that we have debris being lofted from here. So that's particularly good news as it's getting closer to the Arkansas state line. Overall, these storms are prolific lightning producers. There are a lot of folks who have outdoor plans. It's graduation season after all. Many of us might be out and about. Don't take the lightning threat don't downplay it, because this is another threat that we'll face. It is also causing power outages out there, and that lightning extends into south parts of Tulsa even from storms that are well over a dozen miles away. That's something that we're going to continue to watch out for, and we can see some of that lightning from the cell just south on Highway 169. But the Tulsa immediate vicinity, not dealing with any of the storm activity right now. You have to get just beyond Broken Arrow and down into Sequoyah and Wagner County for that threat to be ongoing. Once again, 2 tornado warnings, 8 air in Pittsburg County, taking us till 6 o'clock. We've got a closer look at some of those areas of circulation. We'll send it back over to Chief Meteorologist James Adelot with the latest.
Yeah, we continue to look in Tulsa. Things are very quiet here with a severe thunderstorm in Wagner County, just to the east of Tulsa. I want to look to the west of Tulsa too. A severe thunderstorm moving up into Stillwater right now. This is primarily, it looks like to me, a hail-producing thunderstorm, but it is going to be racing to the northeast too. And as it does, that's going to be moving right up over Stillwater, Yost, and Glencoe. The most likely spot, I think, for additional thunderstorms would probably be round 3 or round 4 today, will be from this storm back up north toward Ponca City. Those would race east into Osage and Pawnee County, but hail the primary threat here. Let's go back into Adair County and our storm that's produced a confirmed tornado earlier in Cherokee County. Nothing to indicate that we've had a tornado with it recently, but the circulation had continued pretty strong. And right now, just to the north of Westville on Highway 59, in fact, between Westville and Watts, that strong circulation here is a little weaker than it was, but that's going to be moving out of Oklahoma and into Washington County in Arkansas here in just the next few minutes. We got a new flash of a tornado warning. You just saw that happening too. So Benton County in Arkansas, Washington County in Arkansas, that's where the circulation will continue. So here is the newest tornado warning. This does include McAlester and Haleyville and Hartshorne and Krebs along Highway 270 east of McAlester. It also includes the Indian Nation Turnpike. It includes Savannah. It includes Kiowa and all the way south to the southern part of Pittsburg County right now with that circulation continuing. This is racing to the northeast. There you can see actually really bright reds here with this storm. I'm going to take a close-in view and see if we can switch out, and we did switch radar sites here. This is really strong circulation just to the west of Highway 69. If you are in Kiowa, take your tornado precautions right now. Let's go over those. It is important. This is a strong enough rotation to produce a tornado at any time. That means in Kiowa, houses, apartments, safe room, basement's best. Otherwise, lowest level, center part, smallest room. Cars or mobile homes or outdoors. You've got to find sturdy shelter. You've got a few minutes to do that. We'll extend this into Savannah. Same precautions apply. Offices, schools, commercial buildings, follow that tornado plan. If anything, gas stations, convenience stores in Kiowa, get into the walk-in freezer if you can. Okay, the Oklahoma Highway Patrol is still confirming tornado on the ground with this right now too. We look at the correlation coefficient. I'm not seeing any. This is a long way from the radar, so if it was lofting debris, it would be a major tornado. New tornado warning, that's from the Adair County storm up into Arkansas, so that one's not going to be the big issue for us. Let me kick back over to the view from Tulsa. Things are quiet. We've got those thunderstorm east of town and west of town. Let's get back into Pittsburg County and our tornado warned storm here. I'm going to do an updated track on this with that rotation right along the county line. We'll go over to velocity and the rotation right in here, moving to the northeast. I'm going to make this go a little bit faster, between 45 and 50 miles per hour. Here is the laydown here, the layout of towns. 550 at Kiowa, Savannah 558. That also goes for the Army ammunition plant, just to the west of Highway 69. McAlester Airport 604, community of Arch, Krebs by 611, and that east of McAlester goes for Hartshorne and Haleyville 2, and all the way up to Krebs and in McAlester. McAlester officially in the tornado warning polygon right now. The circulation is now north of the Atoka and Pittsburg County line, but we likely have a tornado occurring right now. At last report from the National Weather Service was that the Oklahoma Highway Patrol was still confirming that. Understand we do have tornado damage in Cole County as well. So this is the circulation that has produced the tornado warning. Yeah, Oklahoma Highway Patrol reporting a tornado on the ground in Pittsburg County from that between Ashland and Kiowa. If you are in Kiowa, Savannah, McAlester, Krebs, Haleyville, Hartshorne, take your tornado precautions right now. We can give the all clear to anybody west of the Pittsburg and Hughes County line, but southwestern Pittsburg County, we've got a confirmed tornado occurring right now. That tornado warning is in effect until 6:15. Now, if we look at Doppler radar, a little different view, we also have a strong circulation here that's developed just to the south of Kiowa. Our original circulation in southwestern parts of Pittsburg County right here. So correlation coefficient actually not showing us, again, any debris being lofted, but if we have a new circulation developing just south of Kiowa right now, and that's somewhat evident from looking at it from this radar site. So that is why the tornado warning has been expanded southward too. So we'll do, in fact, I'll just go ahead and do tracks on both of these areas of rotation. Oftentimes you get one area of rotation in a thunderstorm like this. It will form a new circulation just to the south or southeast of the original circulation that will eventually take over. So as we look at this, we'll plot this up, moving to the northeast, take that out close to 40 miles per hour towards Savannah, Chambers, Kiowa area right now, McAlester and the McAlester Airport, and then Krebs. Let's do a track on the Kiowa storm as it moves to the northeast, again closer to 45 miles per hour. This one will be closer to the community of Pittsburg, Arch, Craig, and Hartshorne. That tornado warning is in effect until 6:15, and both of these will be very close to the Indian Nation Turnpike crossing Highway 69, especially that north circulation too. So anybody on Highway 69 needs to be stopped at I-40 going south, or stopped at Durant heading north. And likewise, Indian Nation Turnpike, got to stop somewhere, Highway 270, north side of McAlester going to the south, coming to the north, pull over at Daisy or Hugo. Don't even be on the Indian Nation Turnpike until these two circulations move right on past. Those are both two very busy highways. So very strong rotation. This actually looks a little stronger south of Kiowa and also just to the northwest of Kiowa. It could be very possible that we have two tornado threat zones in parts of Pittsburg County right now. This is the only active tornado warning that we have in our viewing area, and the two circulations on either side of the community of Kiowa right now. You just saw the new tornado warning get issued for that north circulation. I'll recenter that. And again, we're looking, this one does include all of McAlester. So in McAlester, again, we're looking again, the same tornado tips. If your house or apartment, get to a safe room or basement. If you don't have that, get to the lowest level, center part, smallest room. If you're in a car, mobile home, or you're outdoors, got to find sturdy shelter. And again, don't rely on outdoor warning sirens. I'm telling you right now, tornado warning McAlester, Savannah, and Kiowa. Office building, follow that tornado plan. And in general, that's center part, smallest room, and lowest level again there too. Let's look at velocity one more time, and I'll do a track on both of these tornado warned circulations. The first one, let's get an update on that motion from the warning, and again, that's hauling along pretty quickly right now. Again, right into the Savannah and Kiowa areas. Let's take that to the northeast at 50 to 55 miles per hour now towards Savannah, 556 in the Kiowa area, just north of Kiowa. Savannah, Army Ammunition Plant, 556. That's 5 to 10 minutes away. Chambers, McAlester Airport on the south side of McAlester. Community of McAlester, we're getting up toward Krebs at 607. Richville, Bug Tussle at 614. Reams at 616. Let's go to the south circulation. We'll do a track on it. Again, this continues strong too. This one also moving along really quickly. This one's got a chance to make it over toward Haleyville and Hartshorne. Pittsburg, Ty, Arch, Craig, southern parts of Pittsburg County, and on to Hartshorne at 615. Again, lowest level, center part, smallest room. You've got, especially along 270, east of McAlester, Haleyville, Hartshorne, Krebs, you've got time to get out of mobile homes and get to a sturdy shelter. Meanwhile, Tulsa quiet, but Mike, we've got other thunderstorms that have fired up to the west of Tulsa, closer to Stillwater. Those are more of a hail threat.
They're more of a hail threat, in western Pawnee County will be next to see that storm. Not a warning for any of the Fox 23 viewing area, but the storm is pushing through Stillwater as we speak. If it continues its movement, Pawnee County is next up to see this. We do have other severe storms southeast sides of the Tulsa metro area at this time. These warnings include much of Wagner County, northwestern portions of Muskogee County, and northern Okmulgee County. Most of the rain is staying just to the south of the immediate Tulsa area, but Coweta, Haskell getting repeated rounds of storms. This means low-lying spots likely covered in water. We're watching this very closely, and our own storm tracker, Jesse Post, is monitoring the conditions southeast of Tulsa. We do have his shot, I believe. If we take him, we'll see what his conditions are looking like at this time. Jesse, if you can hear me right now, what have you noted from this storm? Any hail or wind in particular, or any flooding?
Yes, sir. Just south of Haskell now. We have some street flooding. There's deluge rain. I'm just on the east side of the boundary right now. So just west of me is pouring. It's raining so hard back in there. Hydroplaning is probably going to be a problem. Small tree limbs. I did see some strong winds, severe winds, but I haven't seen any type of circulation yet.
All right, thank you, Jesse, and glad to hear that we aren't at least seeing much of a tornado potential out of these cells. Thank you for that report, and thank you for monitoring the conditions southeast of Tulsa. We'll try and check back in with you a little bit later on, but for now, the hail potential not terribly strong, but something we're watching out for. A new warning now extending from that particular storm right now. That now includes much of southwestern or southeastern portions of Rogers County, much of Mays County, goes all the way to Delaware and Cherokee County. We just got out of our tornado warning in Cherokee County a bit ago, but here comes your next round of storms, primarily a wind and hail threat as this continues eastward. The heaviest of it right now is south of Highway 412, but this will be lifting east-northeast, and I believe the track will be about 55 miles per hour. These storms are moving quickly. Thankfully, that limits how much rain will fall in any given location. But notice the orientation of these storms. They're kind of moving over the same locations pretty quickly, which still amounts to a lot of water coming down. And as Jesse was mentioning, hydroplaning could be a real thing if you're out on the roadways around these storms or shortly thereafter. Hail threat at least a little bit lower, but still up to quarter-size hail possible. This will continue eastward. Does look like we're bowing out a little bit with this. I'm going to go ahead and clear this alert and show you the velocity. And we're noticing some strong winds pushing out from Highway 69, clear through Wagner County and probably impinging upon the northern end of Lake Fort Gibson. And that extends all the way up to about Maisie, just south of Choteau, and that area getting some potent wind gusts as well. Storms of concern, Pittsburg County. We're back to the storms, 2 separate tornado potential areas in these storms going closer in. We also have up to 1.5 inch diameter size hail with these storms. And as we take a look at the velocities, really distinct circulation, 2 of them right now. One just beyond Kiowa to the east. Kiowa, you are just barely in the clear. If you're west of Kiowa, no concern for the tornado now, but there is the potential near Savannah. This is where our next community really needs to be sheltering in place. That right there, yeah.
Southeast of Kiowa has debris lofted.
Yep, that makes sense given the strength of the circulation. Oh yeah, and as we go closer in, I'll just zoom out one touch here. But debris lofted will be noted here on correlation coefficient. A clear debris drop. So we do have debris ongoing. This is very close to Highway 63 and approaching Highway 69. So anyone in Pittsburg County that is traveling Highway 69 south of McAlester, this is a real and immediate threat, an ongoing tornado, probably crossing the highway as we speak, because by the time you're watching this on a live stream, this is probably a minute or 2 delayed, and that would put this right over Highway 69. Is that Indian Nations Turnpike? Okay, yep, I'm sorry, yep, this is Indian Nations right here, Highway 69 in the clear. It's Indian Nations. I'm glad you called me out on that. That is what will continue eastward. So Indian Nations Turnpike, please make sure any friends or family are aware there is a tornado set to cross that turnpike and quickly move east-northeastward into the rest of Pittsburg County that is south of McAlester. So that is a confirmed tornado, and that's also quite a bit of a distance from the radar site, which means that the tornado is lofting debris thousands of feet in the air as we speak. Okay, yep, and I just zoomed back there. Our tornado warned by the way system in Adair County is gone, so we're solely focused on these 2 areas. One confirmed tornado approaching Indian Nations Turnpike, and another one closer to Savannah. That would be closer to Highway 69 though, so that's the other one, maybe not as organized on radar here. This one is just a clear indication of a tornado. There, we'll check back in on the correlation coefficient, and that continues to push ever so close to Indian Nations itself, right up Highway 63. So that seems to be tracking along that highway, and that would eventually put it towards Hartshorne right now. So I'm going to put an indication from our debris spot as it continues its way eastward. That will take it near Arch, as you just saw. Back to this, though, we will continue this eastward. I'm just going to draw this off screen so we can get a clear indication of where this is. And, yeah, latest track, Arch 604, Craig 608, Haleyville by 611, Hartshorne by 612, Adamson in about 617, and Higgins 619. It's a quick mover, so that puts it in eastern portions of Pittsburg County here in the next 20 minutes or so. And eventually Latimer County. If you're joining us from Wilburton down to Veterans Colony or up to Robbers Cave, this is a concern for you in the next 30 to 45 minutes. So this is your heads up. Kiowa, once again, you are in the clear, but if you are along and to the east of Indian Nations Turnpike in the southern half of Pittsburg County, this is the area of concern with two distinct areas of rotation. Back to the velocity we go, and it is clearly found as it approaches Indian Nations. We're going to take a closer look at this as James continues to analyze this on radar. Back to you.
And again, we look east of Tulsa, we see a severe thunderstorm. We're watching this one closely too. I want to examine it. We'll get right into Pittsburg County too, just for any spots that we might be seeing any rotation increasing. I'm not seeing those, thankfully, with this. But again, we'll watch the part of this in southern Bayes County that's oriented back northwest to southeast. So far, nothing terribly suspicious. The biggest storm that we have with tornadoes ongoing right now in southern parts of Pittsburg County. Let's zoom in to southern Pittsburg County. And you can see not only do we have a hail issue, we get a velocity, and while it does look messy, we've got rotation taking place that's, as Mike said, crossing the Indian Nation Turnpike, and this is going to be right along Highway 63. Now, if this continues, we're talking Hartshorne. If you are in Hartshorne now in a mobile home or car, you've got time to get to substantial and sturdy shelter. I am talking to you now, generating this at just past 5:57. It takes 45 seconds if you're watching us on a stream to get that signal out. So keep that in mind. What we're talking about is about 45 seconds to a minute late, so don't get too pinpoint with these streets, but we likely have a tornado ongoing right now. And we look into this, and it's a very noisy correlation coefficient signal, but we do have a pretty significant dropout taking place right along Highway 63. This is now east of Highway 69. So from this southern circulation, we'll come back in. The velocities are, again, just a little noisy. I'm going to look and see if base velocity might clean that up a little bit. Not really. So just seem to be having some issues decoding that. But I tell you what we will do, and that is go over to high resolution Doppler radar right now. And I'm going to show you what that looks like as we zoom right into it with this storm, right into Pittsburg County. So let's go into that part of the storm very close to Pine Top. I'm going to go to velocities and very close to Blanco, I should say. So north of Pine Top and also just to the south of the community of Savannah. Again, some dropouts here. We have some artifacting in the signal because the radar beam's going through a lot of hail before it gets here. So that correlation coefficient signal is not as reliable as it should be, but this is an extraordinarily strong rotation very close to Blanco, crossing the Indian Nation Turnpike right now. We also have strong circulation taking place just to the southwest of McAlester. Again, these blues and greens are an indication that the radar beam with correlation coefficient at least is passing through all of this hail, so it's not giving us really good debris indications at all. But what I can do is take a look from Norman and investigate this storm, because this continues to be, in fact, I'm going to go back over to the velocity, and we're getting a much better picture right now. So we fixed a lot of these aliasing issues where the computer is trying to resolve the velocity. So right on Highway 63, Kiowa and Pittsburg down here, getting up all the way past Arch, and toward Hartshorne to the northeast. Likely have a tornado down with this right now. We go to correlation coefficient. Again, this is part of the non-uniform. It's called non-uniform beam filling. I don't want to throw a bunch of jargon at you while we're dealing with a tornado, but that's just an indication that all of the green and blue is not necessarily debris, but what we are seeing right there is probably it. So we are, let me go back over to high resolution Doppler radar right now, and I'm going to zoom right into that part of the storm, and we'll get a much better look at this. Goodness, that rotation is strong. Just to the east of Blanco, let's go to correlation coefficient. Again, getting a little bit of that non-uniform beam filling, but there are some signals here that we do have debris being lofted up into the radar signal. We go back to velocity, and this is an exceptionally strong rotation with this storm right now. This storm is likely producing a tornado. It is likely right along Highway 63. This is going to be moving, I'm going to call out your towns, Blanco area now, Arch, Bond, here is Hartshorne. If you're in Hartshorne, take your tornado precautions now. Let's go a little further. Let's talk past this tornado warned storm and into parts of Latimer County, Wilburton, early heads up. If this continues moving toward the east-northeast, we're moving toward Roberts Cave State Park and Wilburton. I know cell phone coverage at Roberts State is not the best, but if you know somebody that's trying to get some camping, maybe they're early to snag a campsite for the Memorial Day holiday weekend, got to give them a call and tell them that a very severe storm with tornado potential is moving their way. We'll go back to velocity, and again, the strongest circulation is located right along Highway 63. This is passing just to the south of McAlester right now and moving toward Hartshorne. So if you are in Hartshorne, this is a deadly serious situation. A tornado occurring right now south of McAlester and moving toward Hartshorne. Let me give you an updated track with that rotation centered very close to Blanco right now and moving toward the east-northeast. That puts it into Hartshorne between 6:10 and 6:20. You've got 10 minutes in Hartshorne to take your tornado precautions as this moves up over Highway 270. If this holds together, we're talking then into Latimer County, Roberts Cave State Park, eventually toward Wilburton. At this speed, we're looking at 40 minutes away from Wilburton, so 6:35 to 6:45. That's your early heads up in Wilburton. You've got time in a mobile home in Wilburton to get to substantial, sturdy shelter. Same for Hartshorne right now, too. We're going to continue to watch this really closely. We have a tornado watch in effect for all of eastern Oklahoma and southeast Kansas, and several flash flood warnings from these storms back to the southwest as well. And let's look east of Tulsa right now. I want to, again, take a look in Mayes County. We've talked about that storm from time to time, too. And just to the southwest of Sportsman Acres right now, starting to get a little increase in those outbound velocities here. And that's kind of right along a radial. I'm not sure that that is necessarily valid data, so we'll watch this closely. Now, this bright area, that's some stronger winds right at the end of the Cherokee Turnpike and Highway 412, close to the GRDA plant there. Those strong winds, as they continue to progress east, may help add a little bit of spin to that storm. Certainly starting to have the look to it right now, too. In fact, new tornado warning just issued for that storm. Just been talking about that. That's very close to the GRDA plant at the western edge of the Cherokee Turnpike, where it merges into Highway 412. You've got Old 412 that comes off Old Highway 33 up toward Locust Grove. So new tornado warning here. Michaela, can you tell me what the motion is on that? We'll get a track.
Moving northeast at 50.
All right, northeast at 50. Circulation right here. Here's the updated track. We'll take a look in Pittsburg County here very soon in just a bit. So here's the track. That's right over Kerr Dam, not Robert S. Kerr Lake, but Hudson Lake's dam is named Kerr Dam too. It's a little confusing, but Kerr Dam is Hudson Lake. Boatman, Chimney Rock Lake, Rose, that's on Old Highway 33, Old Highway 412, Wycliffe School, Kenwood, Bull Hollow, and Uchi as this holds together. Let's go back and look at velocities, and I'll zoom in here and we'll kind of examine just how strong this is. And yeah, we've certainly seen these outbound velocities get stronger. There's the GRDA plan I was talking about. So the rotation again is just to the east of Choteau. Everybody in this west of US Highway 69 is just fine. East of Highway 69, heads up. This is coming out of Mayes County into parts of Delaware County, and this is right along Old Highway 412, Scenic Highway 412, Old Highway 33, however you want to refer to it, and north of the Cherokee Turnpike, or right on the Cherokee Turnpike. The circulation may be just a tiny bit to the north of the Cherokee Turnpike. We're a little closer to the ground here with the radar signal. I'm not seeing any evidence that we have debris being lofted with it. Let's, as we watch this storm continue to move toward the east, we'll focus again on our tornado-warned storm in parts of South Pittsburg County too. Let's go back to velocity.
Before that tornado too.
What's that?
Look at the hail before that tornado.
Okay. We'll take a look at that hail product in just a bit. Here is the very bright yellows. This is southeast of McAlester. If we were going to have a tornado down with this, we'd likely put it right along Highway 63 or just north of Highway 63. This is right close to the community of Arch. In fact, I probably have a little better view with high resolution Doppler radar right here. That is very strong circulation. We'll look at correlation coefficient with it because again, that circulation is very strong. We're getting some of the signal is not necessarily reliable, and it appears to be really embedded in some of the heaviest rain here, but that is a very strong and very compact circulation. We likely have a tornado down on that storm right now. Let's go further to the north because we've got the two circulations in parts of Pittsburg County. The other one in the Savannah Chambers area, again, not seeing any evidence that we've got debris being lofted with it right now, but the signal is for some circulation in this part of Pittsburg County. We'll look again right into this. This is looking with the Fort Smith radar. And again, we've got some of that circulation moving up into McAlester right now. I'm going to zoom in. We'll look at correlation coefficient with this. Radar beam coming from the northeast, though, is trying to penetrate a lot of hail, and that's causing a little dropout in the data where it's not as reliable for trying to depict lofted debris, but we need to look anyway. So this is very close to Chambers. That is the interchange where you turn off going south on the Indian Nation Turnpike to take 69 down through Atoka to Dallas. So the circulation is very close to that, moving right up over McAlester right now and the McAlester Airport, especially the southeast sides of McAlester and up toward Krebs and Alderson and Richville. I'm going to do 2 tracks on both these circulations in Pittsburg County, and then we'll pitch back over to Mike as he will update you on the northern tornado warning that's moving out of Mayes County into Delaware County. First circulation, this one likely producing a tornado, likely a tornado down with this right now. Moving to the northeast, this is going to be moving out of Pittsburg County. Hartshorne, still 615 tornado precautions right now. This is deadly serious in Hartshorne. This is a strong circulation, likely producing a tornado now. That's going to continue moving to the northeast along Highway 63, very close to Robbers Cave State Park and Wilburton by 6:34 to 6:35. And you can see other towns, Haleyville 614, about the same time as Hartshorne, Drum, Chile, Patterson, Degnan, Wilburton, and on toward Robbers Cave State Park. Let me do a track on that circulation. That's very close to the Indian Nation Turnpike and Highway 69. That one too, moving 45 to 50 miles per hour, moving up into McAlester right now. No evidence that we've got a tornado down with it right now, but that circulation has gotten a lot stronger. Moving up through McAlester here in the next 5 to 10 minutes. Richville, Carbon, Bug Tussle, Massey Point, Blocker, and all the way up toward Bristow Point on the Lake Eufaula and Highway 69. Our radio partners at KRMG joining us now with Storm Center coverage, and meteorologist Mike Grogan will update on Storm Center counties moving out of Mayes into Delaware County.
Yep, we'll start with the wide view just to give you a sense of where the storms are happening. A new tornado warning that would be off to our east, it looks like. We'll go ahead and clear that right now. They do have a new severe thunderstorm warning, though, for Pawnee County for a hailstorm lifting through the northern sections of western Pawnee County and into Osage County eventually. But the storm of greatest concern a little bit to the east of Tulsa right now with a potential tornado, and it would be just north of Highway 412. Flipping over to velocities here, I've already put a track on not only this potential for a tornado, but also just powerful winds altogether. So likely to get wind damage as this moves eastward from Kerr Dam to the Chimney Rock Lake at 6:15. If you're in Rose, 6:17, Kenwood by 6:24, Bull Hollow just shy of 6:30, and Uchi by 6:33. It's moving quickly, so this will be moving into Delaware County within the next 10 minutes. This is for the southeastern corner of Mayes County. In addition to that, though, we also have powerful wind gusts, just straight line winds in central Wagner County. This warning is for up to 70-mile-per-hour winds. Noticing some of the blues in here near Coweta, extending to the west of Wagner. That would indicate the strong wind potential there. This is also lifting northeast, but the greatest concern will be closer to Locust Grove. We'll go closer in there just so we can check out what is happening in Locust Grove, just because if you're not getting a tornado, you're at least getting powerful wind gusts and likely some hail potential with that as well. This is going to be particularly some strong wind gusts there, and we'll flip over to the correlation coefficient. Nothing that indicates lofted debris at this time, and the reflectivity indicates just a lot of heavy rain in the leading edge of that wind already approaching Chimney Rock, Highway 412. It's going to be a rough drive here. The circulation is north of there, right over Kerr Dam, south of Boatman there. We're talking about parts of Hudson Lake there, so that's kind of just to give you a sense of where we're talking. And that storm extends southward, not tornado warned once you get into Wagner County, but still heavy rainfall. These storms have been traveling over the same locations, meaning there's a flash flood potential developing in this area. But this storm will continue to race eastward. That tornado warning will take us all the way until it looks like 6:30. So 6:30, Wagner, or portions of Mayes and Delaware County. Once again, just to check out the vantage point near Shodo, this is very close to Locust Grove. But one check of velocities before we move on. South of Salina, near Locust Grove, you can kind of see there's just this little inward movement there of the winds approaching the radar, and the winds in the red indicate it's moving away from the radar site in Inola. So that shows circulation continues just to advance rather quickly eastward. Kenwood, go ahead and take your tornado precautions, and not quite to Jay, but be thinking about heading to your shelter if a new warning is issued for Jay and Little Kansas. All right, I want to take us back further south. New tornado warning issued in advance of the tornadoes, at least the one potential tornado that we've already had, and also another circulation near McAlester. In addition to that tornado, we have extremely large hail with this cell. That hail potential is jumping up to golf ball size near Hartshorne, but most concerning is the potential for a tornado. Right now, south sides of McAlester, there's an indication of that, and very close to Hartshorne. This is approaching there along Highway 63, so that is where we're likely dealing with that potential issue. Let's check in with the correlation coefficient. It's a messy signal. James was mentioning earlier, the beam is looking from a long distance from the radar site, and it's looking through hail, so it's likely kind of mixing with that, but there still may be lofted debris involved with this particular storm. Back to the velocity we go, and you can still see a distinct circulation, perhaps in a few locations here, but most likely right along Highway 63. Hartshorne is where I'd be in that shelter, waiting it out in the most interior room. If you've got a pillow, blanket, even a helmet, put it on your head, make sure that is ready to go. This is now a warning for parts of Latimer County as well. A new severe thunderstorm warning just being brought to us by the National Weather Service. As we check that out, that is more of just an overall extension of the severe threat from this ongoing cluster of storms from just south of Eufaula clear down to southern Latimer and Pittsburg County. So just be aware this is also a threat for high winds and hail, in addition to the few circulations that have at least confirmed tornadoes with them at this time. Latest check the velocity, still a strong circulation just on the west side of Hartshorne, perhaps one even on the south side. James, I don't know if you've kind of noted that as well, but something we're going to watch out for there. Just a few pockets where circulation is certainly something we're watching out for very closely. Up in McAlester, still be in your safe spot as well. It's a messy signal for velocities, but still getting some indication there is rotation over town. This is going to be more of an issue, though, pushing eastward in the next few minutes. So McAlester, will give you the all clear shortly. Stay in your shelter now. McAlester down to Hartshorne, including Haleyville, and points eastward into Latimer County, including Robbers Cave State Park. Any friends or family that are there need to be moving to a sturdy shelter location. This storm is racing to the northeast with an abundance of lightning. That's another threat, not just with that cell, but all the storms extending clear to the east of Tulsa County. New storms firing to the west of Tulsa as well, up into areas near Oilton. This will be something that we'll watch to see if it strengthens, but for now it is well below severe limits. James is certainly watching those cells. We do have 2 tornado warnings, one Mays in Delaware County, the other Pittsburg, Latimer, and southern portions of Haskell County up next, perhaps for that threat. Back to you.
All right, as we look again into Pittsburg and Latimer County and also little bits of the southwestern corner of Haskell County, the tornado warning continues here. We go to velocity, and again, we're looking right in here at these really bright reds. And in one case here, just to the south of Hartshorne, that's shifted over into blues. But we've got 2 circulations. It looks like one at Highway 63 and Highway 270. So as we talked about, occasionally these storms, when they're in this mode, will create a new circulation just to the south of the previous one. So I think we've got the original circulation along Highway 63, close to 270, maybe a new one trying to form a little closer to Hartshorne. This would end up being the dominant circulation if this trend continues. But we have confirmed tornadoes with this earlier. That is not going to be long enough. Let me extend this window just so we can get that whole plot of the tornado warning in here too. So we're located very close to Hartshorne. Again, right on our time at 6:16. Need to be in your tornado safe place in Hartshorne. We'll drag that new circulation to the northeast toward Hartshorne right now. Chile, Patterson, Damon. Again, we're looking at 6:30 to 6:35, getting very close to Wilburton, southeast Oklahoma State, Robbers Cave State Park at 6:36. Wilburton, Highway 2. Got plenty of time if you're in a mobile home to get to sturdy shelter and get out of the way of this thing. A mobile home is the absolute worst place to be during a tornado. So if you know somebody in a mobile home, give them a call. They may need a ride too. Let's take a look further to the north. And again, some hints that we still have rotation now just east of McAlester. This is going to be close to Krebs and Alderson right now. Not nearly as strong. We'll look at correlation coefficient. Again, we're seeing a little dropout here. Let me go back to velocity, and that's really close to the new circulation that we've talked about. So we may be seeing some debris loft in there. Let me get this moved over so we can actually see this. And right in here is the circulation. We'll go back to correlation coefficient. Looks like we've got a little bit of a dropout taking place there too. So may have a new circulation that's developed very close to Hartshorne. As that moves to the northeast, so that's going to be crossing Highway 1, very close to 270. We are in the Hartshorne area. I'm sending a note to the Weather Service right now, so right in just to the south of Hartshorne, we may have another tornado forming at this point. Strong rotation. We still have strong rotation northwest of Hartshorne. I think that's the original circulation. Both of these are still in the tornado warning, so Wilburton all the way south to Veterans Colony, all the way north to Robbers Cave State Park along Highway 2. Need to be in your tornado safe places. Let's run those down again for you real quick. If you're in your home, maybe an apartment or a dorm, southeast Oklahoma.
James,
What's that?
Steve confirmed that south is the new
Okay.
one and it has debris being lofted.
Okay, so safe room, basement, lowest level, center part, smallest room. Cars, mobile homes, find sturdy shelter. You've got time to do that. This is in the Hartshorne area right now. We may have a new tornado down right now. Let's zoom all the way in. We'll go back to correlation coefficient. And that's what we're looking at, this roundish green with blue in the middle. That is likely debris being lofted up into the radar signal because it's right at the axis of rotation here just to the south of Hartshorne. Again, we're far enough from the radar beam. These things tilt as they go up. You've seen tornado pictures. Not often do they go straight up and down. Oftentimes they can angle, especially when upper level winds are a little bit stronger or even lower level winds too. So this could very well be as far north as Highway 270 or Highway 1, even though radar is painting it just to the south of Hartshorne. So this is deadly serious. Hartshorne all the way east to Highway 2 in Latimer County. So from Veterans Colony in Latimer County all the way north to Robbers Cave State Park, you need to be in your tornado safe place right now. Go back to correlation coefficient again, same story. South of Hartshorne, it looks like we have some debris being lofted up into the radar signal. Let's go back and look at our storm that is now looks like just about to move east out of Mayes County and into Delaware County right now. This tornado warning continues until 6:30. Let's go to look at velocity here. This one's certainly not as strong, but the rotation continues moving very close to Kenwood here, and we'll examine it for any kind of lofted debris. But again, this signal is not nearly as strong, especially on the inbound side. We'll look at correlation coefficient. It's all one color generally, and that is good. That means no lofted debris. We go back to reflectivity. And again, we're looking very close to the Wycliffe School for this rotation, kind of between Wycliffe School and Kenwood, basically now to the southeast of Highway 20. And we are north now of the reservoir there, east of Salina at Chimney Rock Lake. So that's the main area right along Kenwood Road from Highway 82 over to Kenwood. Now this continuing to move to the east-northeast is going to be very close to Tag Flats in Delaware County as it crosses over the county line out of Mayes County. I want to do an updated storm track here, even though we don't have evidence of a tornado down with it. Still moving to the northeast pretty quick. Kenwood, Tag Flats, Uchi holds together. We're talking J by 6:38, then Sycamore at 6:43. The Tulsa setup. Things are very quiet in Tulsa, but we are watching growing thunderstorms to the west of town. So we're not out of the woods in Tulsa yet, even though all of the tornado warnings have been east or south of us. New strong thunderstorms from Cleveland down between Cushing and Oilton now. And those are definitely ones to watch. We have our 2 tornado warnings. What's that?
The debris bowl's bigger.
Yeah, we're going to go look right back into Pittsburg County and into Latimer County right now as we go back and zoom in. First, we examine this with radar, then we'll give you an updated track on the storm. Here is Hartshorne, 270 up toward Wilburton, Highway 1 back down toward Veterans Colony and in southern parts of Latimer County. We go to velocity, and we're looking here. This looks like it is now just east of Hartshorne, right on the county line. This is, again, deadly serious. This is a tornado, and again, a very bright indication here. This is a significant amount of debris being lofted up into the radar signal now as that continues moving just to the south of the community of Gowan and just to the north of the community of Higgins in extreme western parts of Latimer County. Let me go to the high resolution Doppler radar again. We can examine this in a little bit more detail. We'll look at velocity. There is the couplet. This is looking at correlation coefficient. And one thing I'm going to do is tilt the radar beam up just a bit and see if just how high we can detect debris. It gets lost here between 10 and 15,000 feet. So we're likely looking at, if this correlates out to a significant tornado, most likely EF3 or stronger. This is a major violent tornado that's right along Highway 1 in parts of western Latimer County. Let's do that track. I'm going to bounce this all the way out so we can fit that whole track on the screen because this thing's moving along really quickly. We'll go to velocity. That'll allow me to really pinpoint where that tornado is. And you can see bright greens, bright reds right here. Moving to the northeast, maybe east-northeast at 50 to 55 miles per hour. And now we can give you the shelter now for Wilburton. You need to be in your tornado safe place in Wilburton. This is deadly serious. This tornado is down, doing damage just to the south of Highway 270 and north of Highway 1, moving toward Wilburton, Ludi, Red Oak, Denman. If this holds together all the way to the edge of Latimer County toward the community of LaFleur, Higgins area, pretty much right now. Let's zoom all the way in again. And this is really bright yellows, bright greens, and bright blues. We've got a tornado down right here. So this is just south of Highway 270. We can give the all clear from this storm for Haleyville, Hartshorne, Krebs, and all of Pittsburg County. Let's go back to correlation coefficient. Right in here, we still have that dropout where we've got the dark blues and greens. So we likely have a tornado down. We do have a tornado down. This confirms that debris is being lofted up into the radar signal. Velocity, this is as strong a velocity signature as we've seen all day that we have a tornado occurring. Add that in with that lowered correlation coefficient, and we have a confirmed tornado down right now in Latimer County. If you are in Wilburton, take tornado precautions. Let's go over those one more time for you. If you are in your home or you are in a mobile home, two different things. Houses, apartments, safe room, or basement. If you don't have that, get to the lowest level, center part, smallest room. If you're in a car or mobile home, you've got to get out of that, especially with the tornado as strong as it is. Find a sturdy shelter. Let's go back to velocity right now. And again, this is just a really, really strong signature. We've got an indication of significant debris being lofted up into the radar signal right now. This is moving directly toward Wilburton. This passed just south of Hartshorne. In fact, we can watch that debris signal as it formed just to the south of Hartshorne, right there at 617, and then moved to the east-northeast. This is, what's that?
There's a new tornado warning just to the west of Gore, and it has a CC drop with it.
Okay, so let's, wait, tell me the location one more time.
It's just going to be to the west of Gore, Weber
Okay,
Falls.
let's jump over to meteorologist Mike Grogan. He's got a new tornado warning with debris being lofted by it, too.
Yeah, this warning is now for far southeastern Muskogee County. This is where the tornado is. It's pretty close to the junction of the Muskogee Turnpike and I-40, likely just to the north and just to the west of Gore. So this is moving. Michaela, do we have a speed on this?
The speed for that one is going to be moving
We're going to take it.
northeast at 65 miles per hour.
Okay. Well, this is going to take us. Oh, well, I took that off the screen there. This is going to be moving rather quickly, faster than almost any of the storms we've had. I'm going to just mark that out here. If we take it about that speed. Now in Gore, please take your shelter, go to shelter. Interior room, lowest floor, that's where you need to be. This is going to push through much of western Sequoyah County here in the next 20 minutes. At its rate, it will take it towards Marble City. That's not far from Dwight Mission there at about 641, 643. This could also angle up into far southern Cherokee County and southern Adair County. We have the warning including those locations as well. As Michaela was just mentioning, though, we do have a correlation coefficient indication of debris being lofted. That's the spot right there. So that puts it just a few miles from the Sequoyah County line, just into Muskogee County.
East of the turnpike.
Just east of the turnpike. So folks along the turnpike, this is beyond your location, and its track will take it north of I-40. So this is just hugging Highway 64, and it's going to stay north of I-40 by just a marginally comfortable distance, but this is going to take it across several spots, including Gore here. That is a confirmed tornado. Please be moving to shelter at this time. This storm is racing eastward, also part of a line of storms causing a threat for severe weather. I do want to jump back here once more to this tornado warned storm pushing into Delaware County. It's a warning for just a few more minutes, but they have extended a severe thunderstorm warning in advance of it, indicating this is becoming more of a high wind threat. It will still take it into Jay with powerful wind gusts, maybe to 70 miles per hour by 6:37, and then into southwestern portions of Missouri, like Sycamore and Southwest City, 6:41, 6:52, respectively. There's the latest check on velocity. It is crossing into Sequoyah County as we speak. So western Sequoyah County to the northwest of Vian and in Gore. You need to be in your shelter right now. Wait this out. It won't take long, but it is a confirmed tornado. There's the wider view. This warning extends into the southwestern section of Adair County, far southern Cherokee County, south end of Lake Tenkiller. Also be in your tornado shelter at this time. The storm, though, that has been giving us perhaps some of the most concern with a confirmed tornado is approaching Wilburton, already getting a lot of hail. The tornado is found behind that. As we take a look at velocities right now, there it is, a powerful circulation, a confirmed tornado very close to Highway 270, perhaps just south of it right now, and tracking along in just south of Highway 270. This will put it in Wilburton likely in the next 10 minutes. Please move to shelter, up to Robbers Cave, down to Veterans Colony. This whole stretch along Highway 2 is about to encounter a tornado. We'll go ahead and jump over to the correlation coefficient and a clear indication of a debris drop there as well, a debris being lofted in the air. This is pretty far from our radar sites, which indicates it is ongoing at a pretty higher elevation and lofting debris thousands of feet in the air. We've got a few more minutes before it's in Wilburton. Please take your sheltered, move to your shelter. Most interior room, more walls between you and outside, act as layers of protection. And then on top of that, a helmet, blanket, pillow, something like that will protect you. If you're watching us right now on a live stream, you're getting a 50-second delay. So just assume what we're saying has been said about a minute ago. That is one thing to consider as you're watching us here as well. By the way, we do have a few other storms that are gaining intensity west of Tulsa. Severe storm in western Osage County lifting northward. Strong storms in Cleveland and far northwestern Creek County. Not an immediate threat for a tornado or even severe weather with these cells near Hominy and Cleveland, but we're going to keep a close eye on that. We're still in a primed environment area wide with the tornado watch in effect area wide until 7 p.m., but we're likely going to see an extension of this with continued significant threats across the area. Yeah, and they have actually extended this watch, so we do know the threat will carry on at least through mid-evening. James is keeping a close eye on these multiple areas of circulations, 2 confirmed tornadoes at this time. James will pitch it back to you.
As we look right now into Tulsa again, quiet with all of the action still to the southwest or to the southeast of Tulsa. Tornado down right now in far western parts of Sequoyah County. We'll stay with this until it makes it all the way to Sallisaw. We are on a couple of cable systems in western Sequoyah County too, including Sallisaw as well. We go to correlation coefficient, and again, we've got that dropout that's moved right over the community of Gore. And we're looking right in here, Highway 164, just to the east side of the Arkansas River and east of the turnpike. Let's zoom all the way in here, and you can see here's Gore, Nottage Town, back along 64 toward Vian, eventually toward Dwight Mission Road and Sallisaw. Velocity continues with that strong circulation in the Gore area. We go to correlation coefficient, and that is what our dropout was, located northeast of Gore, and so we're going to watch that too. So that was again a quick spin up tornado that formed right over the Arkansas River, it looked like, and that I get a little better view of that debris still shot up into the air by this tornado just to the northeast of Grove. Let's do a track on it. Now, Mike did this just a couple of minutes ago, but from that debris where the tornado is right now, we'll take this about as far as I can get just for more town names here: Marble City, Flute Springs, Bunch, Greasy, Lyons. At the current track, this is going to go just north of the community of Vian and just north of Sallisaw, but we do have confirmation with that debris lofted up into the radar signal right here. So this is just east of Highway 100 in extreme western parts of Sequoyah County, north of Highway 64. We can give you the all clear from Highway 64 and I-40 south, but the circulation is here. Let me show you, I'll put an icon here right where we've got that circulation happening. We'll go back to correlation coefficient. Looks like I've lost the signal looking at it from the Tulsa radar. We'll jump back over to Fort Smith. There's still a little bit of a shadow that we've got some debris being lofted up into the radar signal right here. Again, we'll go back. We do have new data that's just in. I don't see as clear of a signal here, but once it's produced one tornado, odds are that it can quickly spin up another one. That gives us an idea that we've got the structure necessary to do that. Now, we've got an ongoing tornado in Latimer County too. Let's zoom into this because this has been a dangerous storm and likely a strong to violent tornado given by how high this thing has lofted debris. You see these bright reds and bright greens just to the southwest of Wilburton. We'll go over to correlation coefficient. We still have some debris being lofted up into the radar signal right now. pretty confident we still have a tornado down with it moving toward Wilburton. If you are in Wilburton, you have got to get to shelter. Make a split-second decision now. Get to the lowest level, center part, smallest room of your home. You've got to haul it. If you're in a mobile home, get to a sturdy shelter, sturdy building of some kind, because we likely have an ongoing tornado still just to the southwest of Wilburton now and moving into town right now. So lowest level, center part, smallest room of your home. Get there now. It is 6:34 and 25 seconds, and this tornado is moving into Wilburton. Let's go back to correlation coefficient. Again, we still have that indication that we've got some debris loft. Reflectivity, we don't see a hook or anything, and that's what's can be a little bit tough without Doppler radar data to really pinpoint where circulation is. But when you look at the wind, the Doppler radar velocity moment, you can see really bright yellows and reds here. That's wind going in that direction. You get into the bright greens, even a couple of pixels of blue. That's coming back toward Wilburton. If anything, this is not as broad as it was just a few minutes ago, but this is still a very powerful, significant tornado, likely ongoing now, moving into Wilburton. So this is heads up right now in Wilburton. You've got to be in your tornado safe place. If I'm not mistaken, the Wilburton Mesonet site is just to the southwest of town. So we are going to watch that closely because we may see some indication with the Wilburton Mesonet site of that tornado. Right now they've got northeast winds at 22 miles per hour, so not seeing it. What's that?
It hasn't taken new data in 10 minutes.
Okay, so 10 minutes of no data is not a great sign, but they will collect data even if they don't transmit it. So once things get hooked back up to power, we'll be able to tell. Now this rotation, again, strong just to the southwest of Wilburton. It's maybe a little bit weaker, and that is certainly such a great sign to see, but this is still very powerful. Given the level of tornado that this has likely produced over the last 30 minutes, even though we're watching the velocity slightly weaker, that does not mean to let your guard down. These things can continue producing a tornado even if the velocity is a little bit weaker, especially when we've produced a tornado so strong. It is 6:36 right now. You are watching Fox 23 in Tulsa, and we are watching a tornado moving very close to the community of Wilburton in Latimer County. Again, you've got to be in your tornado safe place in Wilburton right now. Other tornado warned storm in western parts of Sequoyah County will go to velocity right now, approaching Highway 82. We've got some rotation here, and also along Highway 100, we've got two little areas of rotation. To be honest, kind of one in southern parts of Cherokee County, but to me it looks like the strongest rotation when we're getting into some of these blues and these brighter greens next to the brighter red. So I would put the most likely spot for seeing a tornado very close to Highway 100 and Highway 82 in parts of western Sequoyah County, kind of right in here. That's going to move to the northeast. This is going to be passing north of Vian, north of Salisaw High School, north of the community of Salisaw too, and just to the south of Cookson, unless it takes much more of an angle to the northeast. I'll give you an updated track on that in just a bit. We'll go to correlation coefficient. And again, from this radar vantage point, we're pretty low in the storm. If we were to have a tornado down with it, we'd have pretty high confidence that it would be lofting debris up into the radar signal, and thankfully we're not seeing that. But we are still seeing some strong rotation taking place. I'm going to expand the view, and I'm going to give you an updated storm track on this as it moves to the east-northeast, and it's been moving pretty quickly too. So right in here, crossing Highway 82, and we'll take this also at about 55 miles per hour. If this holds together, it'll be moving across extreme southeastern Cherokee County, well southeast of Cookson and Tahlequah and Ten Killer Lake, and to the north of Salisaw and all the way over. This one's going to be a little closer to Stillwell than our prior circulation that moved up from Tahlequah and right across northern parts of Adair County. So that is the tornado warning and the towns to be affected. We've had a confirmed tornado with this storm just a few minutes ago. Last signal, we didn't see any kind of lofted debris, but we will continue to watch that really closely as it moves to the northeast. Also, our tornado warning continues in Latimer County. Let's zoom in to Wilburton because that circulation looks like it's still centered either right on top of or just east of Wilburton. Remember, these things may not be completely vertical circulation, so give yourself a little bit of a circle of uncertainty around this thing. So in the Wilburton area now, we'll look at correlation coefficient. And we still have some signal for lowering here. What makes me a little suspicious it might not be debris, and we certainly hope it's not, is it is kind of along a radial from the radar, which makes me think it's getting some interference from some hail or higher precip target. And that's kind of what we're seeing here with hail coming from the radar to the northeast into this. So there's a chance that that's not debris. The radar indication of circulation still strong, but it is just a little bit weaker. We've got some other thunderstorms that have developed west of Tulsa so far, not severe except the one moving into Paine and Osage County. Let's check in with meteorologist Mike Grogan.
Yeah, to give you an overview, Tulsa is in between the storms. Metro area doing all right at the moment. There is that cell in western Osage County. I'll talk more about that in a moment. It is mainly a hail producer lifting north-northeast in the westernmost parts of the county near the community of Burbank. The storms that were once tornado warned weakening definitively across Delaware County. Still going to pack a punch. It's warned as severe, but the wind speeds have dropped off a touch. Still concerning for some gusty winds around Jay down to Concord, but that is no longer a tornado warned storm. Powerful winds are probably centered over Jay at this moment, heading along beyond Highway 59, the kind of north-south route through Delaware County, and will eventually be pushing into the Arkansas border. But back to the south, we still have circulations located near and far northern Sequoyah County, and perhaps just a touch north as well. I'm going to move the radar site just a little bit to the north into Cherokee County, where we're noting that we're dealing with at least some element of maybe a little enhanced circulation there. This is going to be west of what would be Highway 100 in southern Cherokee County, pretty close to Lake Tenkiller there, and then also south of Cookson. We'll just go ahead and take a peek at the correlation coefficient and confirming that we still don't have any definitive area of lofted debris. That's a great sign. We do have a new tornado warning here. Okay, it's for the Wilburton storm here, since that doesn't want to show me. Okay, back to the south though. Yeah, and it's a broader extension of the tornado warning. One thing of note, it's angled a little bit northward. Sometimes these longer track tornadoes will occlude to the north, so there might be a bent northward with this, but this now includes Stigler, Keota, parts of western Lafleur County, all the way down into still the areas most affected in central and northern Latimer County. So let's get a little closer look right now near Wilburton. At this time, we have the most intense circulation, once again showing up a couple thousand feet where the beam is hitting from the radar, but located still very close to Highway 270. Wilburton, this appears to be moving past you, but you're still within the window. This still could be an issue. So please remain in your shelter. Powerful winds ongoing at Robbers Cave. Intense rainfall as well, making it very difficult to drive around this area. Do want to point out, a lot of folks like to go out and look for these kind of things. This is completely wrapped in rain. In fact, I'll show you. Reflectivity, it's embedded right in the middle of this. The amount of humidity that's at play combined with the rain and potential for hail, you're just not going to see this tornado until it is right on top of you. That's why we don't want you out looking for this. We want you in your shelter from Wilburton east and northward. And once again, this is all moving rather quickly to the east. I do want to point out this cell right here, the heaviest of which is crossing kind of along the Caw County, Osage County line. I do want to go back to this cell though and give you a new track on it though. We'll widen the view just a touch just to give you an updated look at where this is headed. This is going to continue its way northeastward, likely still moving at a rapid clip. I'm going to just put this on a wide view here so you can get a sense of where it might be heading. This would put it near Norris by 702, Walls at 707, McCurtain by 709, and Dog Creek at 713. So these are some of the communities included as it makes an angle through northeastern sections of Latimer County beyond Wilburton. Still, anyone along Highway 270 and northward in particular needs to be in the shelter. But once again, we've also included some other communities even north of there. We could still see further development of a new circulation north of this, or perhaps even on the south side of this line, which right now is very active with lots of severe weather. And as we jump back to reflectivity, You'll see the leading edge of the heavy rain is already in Stigler, where you're likely hearing sirens. Outside Kenta, Wilburton, still in the midst of this heavy storm. Even if the circulation is just moving beyond you, it's still a definitive concern, and there is a broad severe thunderstorm warning just to basically capture the areas where we might get stronger winds and hail, and that goes clear up into east central Oklahoma. So that's kind of what we're looking at here. Latest check of circulation, still powerful outbound winds showing up in Wilburton right now, kind of getting this look here. There's the new circulation, and it's a bit more confined just on the north side of Highway 270 by a mile or two, now to the east of Wilburton. So it appears Wilburton likely in the clear for this cell. That is the good news. But if you're anywhere east of Robbers Cave or Wilburton, remain in your shelter. We do have another severe thunderstorm warning, and this is just an extension of the storm I mentioned earlier in Osage County. It takes it through the western half of Chautauqua County and even beyond the Fox 23 viewing area from there. All right, so once again, we're going to check in on correlation coefficient, see if there is any drop off in noted debris. It has been a very messy signal lately. It still is. We still see areas where it could be dropped, but as James mentioned, it's kind of along the same line here. That would maybe indicate this is more of an issue with the radar beam being brought from the Fort Smith radar site and kind of angled away from there. So that doesn't give us as clear of an idea if we still have a tornado versus just a strong circulation. Overall, though, the storms are not an immediate threat to Tulsa. We're keeping an eye on the cell near Oilton, seeming to get a bit more organized. We do have a storm tracker that direction, keeping a close eye. If anything develops out of there, we'll be hearing from Joseph. But for now, at least the threat is not for Tulsa County. This is mostly for far eastern Oklahoma, and it continues to be a threat as we extend into the later evening hours for especially the areas in southeastern Oklahoma. This is likely kind of our higher end portion of the threat for the next hour or so. Then as this line clears out, there's still the potential for more development as we're seeing west of Tulsa, but so far that has yet to take hold. We'll send it back over to James for another update.
Yeah, we now have a tornado down with our rotation just to the southeast of Cookson. Let's look at that because we can see that pretty clearly as we look at correlation coefficient. Here's the look. You can actually see how things have started to wind up even more just southeast of Cookson. Let's go to velocities, and now we'll go to correlation coefficient. You can see that bullseye right here of dark blue in a kind of greenish circle around it. That is located right where the velocity couplet is, which is right here. In fact, this is actually fooling the radar just a little bit by shifting over into red on the green and blue side of things, but just to the southeast of Cookson. Let me do a track on this too, because this is moving to the northeast. I'm going to zoom out so we can get a speed, because this is going to be very close to Stillwell before long. So that circulation right here. Take this up to the northeast at about 50 miles per hour toward Lyons, Cherry Tree, Zion through 703, Stillwell 705, Peine, Piney at 713. This is very hilly and treed up terrain, so we're not going to get good visual of a tornado with it, but just know that we've got a tornado down with it too. We're also watching very close to Cookson or just to the northwest of Cookson. This circulation's gotten a little bit stronger, but for now we've got this tornado down. Let's go over to high resolution Doppler radar, and you can really see that pinpoint right in here, just to the southeast of Cookson and northeast of Evening Shade. We'll go to velocity, and again, that is a very strong indication that we've got really strong velocities. Not only do we have these outbound reds turning into yellows, but inbound greens shifting into some blues. So this is a very strong circulation with a tornado down now, lofting debris up into the radar signal. Again, we can look at the debris. It continues. This is very close to the Adair County line. That is here. This is deep in the woods, southeast of Lake Tenkiller and southeast of Cookson and to the east of Highway 82, where we can give you the all clear. This is going to be very close to Bunch, Stillwell Lake, Zion, and Stillwell as this gets up closer to Highway 59. But we definitely have a tornado down right now, right along the Cherokee and Adair County line. Again, we go to velocity, very bright reds and yellows next to very bright greens and blues. That gives us an idea of this circulation. also just to the north of Cookson, right along Highway 82. Smaller, but we're picking up brighter reds next to brighter greens, and that too looks like it could produce another spin-up tornado close to Wildcat Point. And that's going to be moving up a little bit closer to Tailholt, but the strongest circulation is right here. Again, lofting debris, that's what this signal is here. So that is a serious tornado situation in southern Adair County, where the tornado warning remains in effect until 7 o'clock. That will be extended. We go into Haskell County and Latimer County, and now into LaFleur County too, with our tornado warned storm that has now moved east of Wilburton and along Highway 270. Let's go to velocities. And thankfully this is weaker, but we still have a couple of spots with rotation. One just south of Kinta along the Haskell-Latimer County line. We've got another one. This was the original circulation. If I'm processing all of these right, it is now east of Wilburton. Everybody west of Highway 2, we can give you the all clear from this storm. But two circulations here, Haskell and Latimer County. Let me zoom out so we can, again, fit the whole track of these circulations on here, because they're moving quickly and these storm tracks will jump off the screen pretty quickly. So first one, Northeast 55. This is going to be close to Leakwire, Lafayette, Panther, McCurtain, Iron Bridge, Keota, and Red Hill. This is also going to be really close to, maybe just to the south of Stigler. If you're in Stigler, you need to be watching this like a hawk. You are in the polygon, so out of an abundance of caution, you should probably take your tornado precautions. It looks like that circulation will be close to Stigler. The other one is, again, thankfully a little bit weaker. Let me zoom in again, looking northeast of Wilburton, likely right in here, right along Highway 270. We haven't heard any reports at all from Wilburton, but that was a strong circulation just southwest of town where the velocity weakened a little bit. New tornado warning, but you can see this track gets up into LaFleur County toward Bocoshe through about 719. Let's go over to that tornado warned storm right now. And again, the north circulation we just talked about, north of Cookson, getting a little stronger. The National Weather Service has now tornado warned that. We'll go to velocities and we'll examine this. And yeah, that's certainly stronger as it moves up toward the 10 killer community right in here. Look how bright. We get the greens and blues here and the bright reds, even a couple of pixels here where we're getting into yellow. Let's take correlation coefficient. Again, we're in this spoke where it's not terribly reliable. I don't think that's debris. I know this is debris. That is a tornado down right now, moving across the county line from Cherokee County into Adair County. You can actually see the bump out in conventional radar. This is reflectivity, how high, how heavily the rain is falling. Red is heavy rain, but you can see this actually has a little bit of a bump out in it in Adair County. That is a very significant indication too in this sort of setup that we have a tornado down with it. We check velocity data. And again, with this strength of this, we're getting reds showing us wind this way, getting into the yellows. That's even stronger wind heading the same way. And the blues coming back toward the radar, again, really strong. So there's the new tornado warning clearing all of Cherokee County from the south circulation, but not the north circulation, which is very close to the 10 killer community. We'll set that up again and do an updated track with the circulation with the tornado occurring right now, moving up towards Stillwell. So Stillwell, here we go. Take your tornado precautions right now. Let me put that on the screen in case you need a reminder. We've said this a lot, but we were talking about other places first. Houses, apartments. If you have a safe room or basement, there's where you need to go. Otherwise, lowest level, center part, small room. If you're in a car, mobile home, get to some sturdy shelter, office or store, follow the tornado plan and get to that safe place. This is going to be moving up toward Stillwell, and again, confirmed tornado down with it right now in the extreme southwestern parts of Delaware County, as that, or Adair County, as that moves to the northeast. Here's the circulation just south of 10 killer. Again, we want to check it. There's a little bit of a dropout here starting to appear. We'll have to see if that is consistent with data. We look into southwestern Adair County. This dropout continues. That is debris being lofted up into the radar signal, so confirmed tornado here. And again, this is moving in the general direction of Stillwell as that slides to the northeast at about 50 miles per hour. It is certainly not going to take long to get up there. Now, let's go to the latest severe thunderstorm warning. And this will be out in advance of that entire storm complex. This gets up into Delaware County too, but the spots that we're really looking at closely are further to the south in southwestern Adair and extreme southeastern parts of Cherokee County. We'll put on velocity because we can pick out where those rotations are much easier. I can put these on for you. Just south of Tenkiller and just to the east of Cookson and southwest of Stillwell. But the problem is, especially with the south circulation, we saw the correlation coefficient showing us the debris being lofted up into the radar signal. This is moving towards Stillwell just after 7 o'clock. The tornado warning continues in effect until 7:15. Moving past Stillwell, we're talking Westville in the tornado warning. The northern part, this circulation is moving to the northeast as well. That one will miss Stillwell as it moves to the northeast, but moving close to Rocky Mountain and Spade Mountain. Marietta, Sanders, Peavine, and West Peavine, the school there at West Peavine, Strawberry Spring, and toward Westville. Let's jump back to meteorologist Mike Grogan as we continue to watch these storms moving to the east, and we still have other thunderstorms west of Tulsa we're watching.
Yes, a number of storms out there, a number of warnings. And so just to kind of break it down for you, a cluster of severe storms in northwestern Osage County, another cell west of Tulsa, not severe. And then a line of severe storms extending from Grand Lake clear down to the southern extent of the Fox 23 viewing area. And embedded within that are several confirmed tornadoes. Let's go right to the area in Adair County where we have two separate circulations. The leading edge of it's a little messy on the reflectivity, but as we jump over to velocity, it is clear that we have a signal for a tornado not far from the community of Tenkiller and also just angling southwest of there just a touch. I'll move this on so the banner won't cover it up. And yeah, right there, we have two distinct spots right there. So as we jump to correlation coefficient, this will identify our debris signature here. It is going to be south of Highway 82, still to the west of Highway 59, still on a general track towards Stillwell if it holds together. So please be moving to your shelter, most interior room of your house, lowest floor. That is where you need to be. Make sure you've got shoes on, a helmet if you've got it, and maybe a blanket, something to protect your head from flying debris, because we know that debris is in the air at this time. Less of a signal for that up on the circulation around Tenkiller, but we still may have a tornado out of it. Despite that, it's just kind of a bit messier of a signal, so a little tough to gauge. But back to the velocity. Still a pretty clear indication. This is moving just beyond Tenkiller. Soon we'll be crossing fully into Adair County. There, in fact, with the latest scan, shows it crossing the county line. And then the circulation a bit further down, southeast of it by about 15 miles. Not as strong, at least according to this velocity scan. We'll jump back to the correlation coefficient, see if that has changed. And you notice a little less of a signature there. So that indicates our tornado is likely weakening. Still likely ongoing. Don't let your guard down around Stillwell or any place along Highway 59 in advance of this. This is still a very serious situation for our friends there. Let's take you down the road to our next severe storm with that possible tornado. I've noted some of that near and just south and east of Kenta, for example. Jumping back to the velocities here, we're going to just angle this up closer to where the circulation is now. And we still find a signature for that just to the west of LaQuire, along highway and just north of Highway 31. We're getting a signal for that as we're looking very close to the community here. Now, we'll jump over to correlation coefficient. I don't think we're going to find any sort of debris signature. We are not, but that does not mean we don't have a circulation with the possible tornado. We're still a little ways from the actual radar site. It doesn't always pick up debris, but this will continue its way northeastward, crossing likely just north of LaQuire along Highway 82, and will continue through the eastern section of Haskell County. I'll widen the view and draw a track for you so you get a sense of where this is in relation to other communities. This is still a healthy distance south of Stigler. Though you are in the warning at this time, we do have a weaker signal for the potential for maybe a circulation there south of Stigler, but right now it's a weak circulation. That is good news. That can always ramp back up. Widen the view though, and I'm going to draw from kind of the main area of concern. This is going to take it northeastward and eventually towards the communities of McCurtain by 7:08, Keota by 7:15, Cartersville by 7:18, and over towards the Pecoshi area by 7:21 in Callington. That puts us just into LaFleur County at that window of time. In the meantime, this could still reorganize. It's embedded within range, so there's no way to really check this out unless you're in it, and you don't want to be in it and outside. So make sure you're moving to your sheltered locations in Keota, down to maybe all the way up to Star, McCurtain, and then Pecoshi, and maybe the far southern extent of Sequoyah County, just getting in on that track I've just drawn. Now to the northwest of Tulsa, a strong storm near Manford, and more of that signal up to the north and west of there, a strong storm. That heaviest core is actually even beyond Osage County in Caw County, which is just beyond our viewing area, so that is not as big of a concern, but we're still watching for that potential for hail, maybe through Scheidler, 4 Acre, continuing into western Chautauqua County around Tulsa. Once again, all is quiet right now. There's that one cell near Manford. The tornado watch has been dialed back for the moment over much of eastern Oklahoma, but as we take a look at where we go from here, we might see additional storms developing with eastward extent through 9:30 and 10. The greatest focus will be in southeastern Oklahoma for the next hour, but if those storms can take hold to our west, they still may pose a threat later tonight, even moving into Tulsa, and even beyond there, midnight, 1, 2 in the morning, still might get a few more cells to pop up. So we're still far from done with the severe weather threat, even moving into the mid-evening hours. But I do want to take a look before we head back to James with a look outside. This is a look at that cell near Manford, a low-hanging cloud deck, little what we call scud hanging beneath that. Nothing indicating any rotation at this time, but it does show there are storms still sitting to the west of Tulsa that might pose a threat for some communities, especially north and west of the metro area. James, we're still monitoring 2 confirmed tornadoes. We'll send it back to you, or at least 1.
Yeah, indeed. And the good news is we have lost any indication of, excuse me, debris being lofted in Adair County just in the last few minutes. But that's still not out of the woods yet in Adair County. So we'll continue to update you on that. I'm shooting out a couple of social media posts real quick, and let's see, there's that one and sent. So Facebook and X, you have been updated. Blue Sky, you have been updated. As we look into Adair County, strongest circulation looks like to me we're very close to Stillwell right now with the tornado warning. It's still ongoing in Stillwell. Let's, as you said, looked outside in Tulsa and things are actually much quieter for us. Here's what's happening in the Stillwell area as we look at high resolution Doppler radar. Here's West Peine, the school there. Looking up northwest of Stillwell, I do not see signs that we've got debris being lofted up into the radar signal, but we still have a strong circulation here, very close to Stillwell. So again, hope you're in your tornado safe place in Stillwell. You've got to be there soon. This is just a mile or two west of Stillwell and continuing to move toward the east, right along Highway 100. You can see we get into some of these brighter reds, even some oranges here, brighter greens and blues coming back this way. So if we had a tornado trying to form, it would be in this area right along Highway 1 and just to the west of Stillwell, moving up toward Marietta, Fairfield, and into western parts of Stillwell. And here we go again. We've got debris being indicated by radar. This is between Marietta and Stillwell, but it's so close to Stillwell. You've got to be in your tornado safe place. Marietta, Fairfield, Stillwell, Piney, all the way up into parts of Arkansas, Dutch Mills, up Arkansas 59. But that looks to me like we've got debris down, or debris being lofted up into the radar signal. There is the rotation. Go back to the correlation coefficient as we try to look for that lofted debris, and that's what we're seeing here. So it does look like we've got, excuse me, debris being lofted up into the radar signal very close to Stillwell. New tornado warning polygon has just popped up on the screen, an adjustment to the prior tornado warning that was in effect. And you can see we've got 2 separate tornado warning boxes. Let's go to velocity and check out the northern one. And we see a little bit of an uptick very close to this Highway 51 logo in the velocities on one side of this circulation. Another one, this is just up to the northwest of Stillwell right now with the second one, for some reason, there we go, drawing it on just along Highway 51. and east of Highway 59. Let's do a track on these too. We're going to move these right down so I can get the whole track on with a motion. This is a 30-minute track, but these things are moving fast, 45 to 50 miles per hour. This is very close to Stillwell. Fairfield, Piney, Dutch Mills, that's in Arkansas. A lot of these are in Arkansas too, as this moves. Once you get north of Stillwell and east of Highway 59, this is a pretty sparsely populated, heavily wooded place in northwestern Adair County. I wanted to do a track on the circulation that's a little bit further to the northeast right now. That's that second polygon that you see. That's going to be toward Peine and West Peine between now and 7:15. Westville, and then on into Arkansas, Summer, Cincinnati, and Lincoln. Let's go right back in here and again looking for signs that we've got lofted debris with it, and we still do, now crossing Highway 59 just north of Highway 51. If you're heading into Stillwell on Highway 59, the interchange with State Highway 51 to go back west toward Tahlequah is north of town. The intersection to go east over toward Evansville and Dutch Mills is a little closer to Stillwell, but still just to the north. This is moving into Fairfield right now, so the Fairfield community, got to be in your tornado safe place. Go back to velocity. And again, where we saw the lofted debris, that correlates really well with what's happening moving into just to the north of Stillwell. So we're likely got that debris being lofted just in the Fairfield area right now. Meteorologist Mike Grogan also watching these storms very closely, and it seems to me with that new tornado watch, the highest risk of a tornado is still lining up to the southeast of Tulsa, I should say.
Yeah, the atmosphere is a bit more stable behind this line. The atmosphere is a bit more stable this way in areas that have received heavy amounts of rain. That is limiting the potential for some storms west of Tulsa, noticing the cell just beyond Tulsa. It looks pretty impressive visually, and I'll show you that in a moment, but not severe, having trouble gaining much further intensity than it already is. But back to our circulation, back to the tornado that's ongoing just north of Stillwell. This is still a distinct concern along Highway 59. It's likely just crossing east of it now near the community of Fairfield. We'll go closer in though so you can just get a sense of a few of the communities still lined up to see this. And really between Peine, Fairfield, and on over to Piney, this is where we have the greatest area of concern. Correlation coefficient here going to show probably right between Peine and Fairfield is where we're getting the debris signature. However, this is still a bit of a distance from the radar beam, so it could be a mile or two displaced from what you see. So Fairfield, Peine, tornado ongoing. This is going to continue its way towards Piney. Beyond that, we get to the Arkansas state line, where it will then cross outside the Fox 23 viewing area. Further south, our next tornado warning still ongoing for a bit longer. This will be ongoing till 7:30 officially, but we just saw it drop off. Thankfully, the signal has really diminished on velocity, and we'll show you that right here. It's very messy, it's broad. Still, there are embedded areas where we have broad rotation, but not enough to really warrant a tornado warning being prompted or a new one being reissued, but just be aware it's a heavy and severe storm. That is certainly a great trend. It's certainly embedded within range, so it's hard to even get some of that higher instability air involved in the midst of that storm. So that's probably part of the reason it has dropped off significantly. We look to the northwest of Tulsa. There is a severe storm warning still for northwestern Osage County, though the hail core has actually gone just beyond the Fox 23 viewing area to our northwest. So that is good news. Still some heavy storms near Pawhuska, and back to the southeast from there, a storm kind of crossing by Lake Keystone and Westport right now is strong. And I'm going to jump ahead and show you what we're looking at from Tulsa, because it's a rather impressive cloud structure that we're seeing from near downtown looking to the north and west, as we're dealing with some pretty robust upward intensity of the cloud deck going up from there, and you can kind of see a low hanging deck of clouds. It is a strong storm, but not a severe one, but one we're monitoring closely, and if it becomes severe, we'll continue to let you know. But of concern right now is Adair County, our single tornado warning that has confirmed we have confirmed a tornado near the community of Fairfield. And as we'll send it back over to James, we'll take a look at where that's headed as it's getting much closer to the Arkansas state line. Piney is the community that needs to be sheltering next. Back to you, James.
Exactly, and as we look right now, that tornado warning continues in effect north of Stillwell. So again, everybody north of Stillwell, Highway 62, well, actually Highway 51, we can give the all clear to from this. Let's go back to velocity, and we've kind of got two spots we're looking at, both north of Highway 51, and both are northeast of Stillwell. Let's examine this really closely because this is getting close to the Arkansas state line. Once this gets into Arkansas, our tornado threat will be finished. We will go back to primetime programming and, of course, be ready to go back on the instant another tornado warning is issued too. So we're going to watch this closely. We go to correlation coefficient. You have to watch this southeast of Peine. It doesn't have quite the appearance. It's not symmetrical. It is in some of the heavy rain. It's fairly close to, in fact, right on where the strongest circulation is. So that was the debris area that we saw just a little bit ago. So yeah, that probably is still. Yeah, you can see. Yeah, it looks like it just went very close to, maybe through Fairfield, crossing Highway 59 in the Fairfield area. So kind of hard to see as I move this animation, but there's that one little dot right there on Highway 59. You can kind of follow it back up to the northeast. It looks like it's breaking up a little bit. Maybe it's unloading the debris just a little bit, very close to Peine right now. So again, we're certainly hoping that this is the end of the tornado threat here. We'll go back to velocity. Again, the data is still pretty strong. This is just to the southeast of Peine. If we were going to have a tornado with this circulation, we have before with this circulation. That's what moved just kind of to the northeast. That's the circulation now, close to Peine, but east of Highway 59. So we can give everybody west of Highway 59 the all clear. This is not going to take long to move out of Adair County and into northwestern Arkansas and out of our coverage area. Let me go back to velocity. I'm going to do a track on this from that cell, moving to the northeast. We're going to take this about as far up as I can get it before running into the banner. Piney, Summer, Cincinnati, all of these except Piney are in northwestern Arkansas. We also, the weaker circulation a little bit further north, just about to cross Highway 59. That one certainly looks a lot weaker than it did. There's the circulation that we were just discussing. And again, that's still pretty strong. You don't want to let your guard down in extreme eastern Adair County. This is very close to Peine. But if you project the path here, that's actually more to the northeast. So we've got 5 to 10 more minutes here as this moves across Adair County. It'll be crossing Piney Road here very soon. Let's take a look at correlation coefficient. Again, there's some evidence of a little drop out here, but nothing as sharp as what we saw before. This is also embedded in some pretty heavy rain too. So visual, and of course with the hills, this is heavily forested, heavily hill area in eastern Adair County, up Piney Road east of Highway 59 and all the way up towards Summers in Arkansas. So it's odds are you're not going to be able to see anything visually if you're out looking for a tornado. This is rough terrain to be trying to visually spot tornadoes. Again, velocity, circulation is kind of locked in right here. Let me put the icon on to make this a little bit simpler for you. Again, well to the northeast of Stillwell, moving to the northeast at about 45 to 50 miles per hour. New tornado warning has been issued now, and it's still for this particular circulation. Weather Service extending this all the way up into Fayetteville and Highway 16, Lincoln area, and up Highway 62 into Fayetteville too. So the circulation still on the Oklahoma side of the state line. As we check velocity again, it's still looking right in here. So in the corner of this new tornado warning box that goes up well into Arkansas. The original tornado warning box, we zoom into it, and it's not quite as strong. What did move from 10 killer well to the north of Stillwell, that looks a little bit weaker. Could be case made for this little area being part of that rotation, but it also looks like it's kind of part of the original larger, stronger rotation that's getting up close to Piney too. So this whole part of the thunderstorm complex.
Confirmed via camera from Arkansas.
Oh, okay. So confirmed tornado in that storm. Looks like between Peine and Lincoln in Arkansas. So Peine, Lincoln, they've got a camera somewhere right in here. So that tornado is probably located here. We'll look at correlation coefficient. Again, there's another dropout that is happening. So we may be having debris being lofted up into the radar signal from, yet again, another tornado, this time very close to Piney. But yeah, got that radar data update, very strong greens and blues. That's an indication of the magnitude of the winds coming this direction, coming back south. And then we've got some fairly bright reds on the other side of this, but this is right on the state line. So we'll be moving this out of our coverage area soon. Thankfully, this is the last tornado warning that we have to deal with for now. We still have a tornado watch in effect mainly southeastern Oklahoma. We'll take a look at that in just a bit, but we'll watch the circulation now north of Piney moving across the state line into parts of Arkansas. We look into southeast Oklahoma. We did have the tornado warning in Latimer and Haskell County. That has been dropped to a severe thunderstorm warning as well. And on the wide view, no additional tornado warnings taking place except our Adair County storm. Let's check in with meteorologist Mike Grogan and one more look at what you've got.
Yeah, one thing I'll point out, we still have a number of power outages due to recent previous storms since the afternoon first or second round came through. Tulsa area in particular, about 6,500 customers without power, almost 1,000 in Bartlesville. We've got a couple thousand in the Muskogee area and several others really seeing just different communities in the area without power. Altogether, well over 10,000 in Green Country without power at this time in association mainly with the wind and the lightning. We still have some other storms that we're tracking. We're not fully done with the storm potential yet in Tulsa, though thankfully anywhere to the west of this leading edge line, much lower tornado threat for the rest of the evening. That is the good news, but we still have this lingering cell right here northwest of Stillwell. That circulation crossing the Arkansas state line as we speak north of Piney. That is where the tornado is confirmed right now, crossing into Arkansas. Further south, the leading edge of the line of powerful storms is now from about Keota to Pecoshi, and that puts us into LaFleur County, just beyond the Fox 23 viewing area. Still heavy rain and storms extend beyond that. We're likely dealing with flooding on some low-lying roads. That means certain places will be impassable or very difficult to travel, so just be cautious if you must be on the roadways with these ongoing storms in southeast Oklahoma, as it's been raining for a long time in some of these same areas. To the northwest of Tulsa, we have dropped the warning now in Osage County. That is great news. So the warning now is just beyond our viewing area, except for far northern sections of Chautauqua County. I'll take us up there and we'll note that this area certainly is much better into portions of Osage County, but Chautauqua County might get brushed by the hail core as we look a little further north that way. Really, though, it appears that the track of this is going to keep it west of the county line and west of the Fox 23 viewing area. We have this one cell that we're watching closely moving out of Westport. It still is maintaining its strength, but it's not severe. A little lightning, perhaps some small hail on the north side of Lake, near Keystone Lake there. This will eventually be approaching Skytook north of Tulsa. And as we just take a look at that storm once more visually speaking, we'll find that it is still showing some signs of upward development with that look from the Arkansas River and looking to the northwest of downtown Tulsa, but nothing that's like incredibly potent. I think it's running into a bit more stable air there. We'll look from another vantage point and you can see how this is kind of creating some cool striations in the cloud deck, but not a severe storm, just within the Fox 23 Skyview network. We still have our tornado warning for a few more moments in Adair County, but that tornado threat is passing into Arkansas. We'll go back to one final check of the wide view of radar just so you get a sense of where the storms are. If you're watching us from the Tulsa area, we're not in any immediate threat of severe weather at this point. In fact, the tornado watch has been dropped off from the metro area and many counties surrounding Tulsa as well. This is the look at radar. Now here's a look at the ongoing tornado watch. Now this will extend beyond 7 p.m. for the counties highlighted in pink, but you'll note that it is now no longer inclusive of Tulsa, any of the surrounding counties, still in for southeastern and far eastern Oklahoma, but that threat will continue to drop off over the next hour or two, and as such we'll continue to return you to the programming, but we'll have a final check with what's going on from Chief Meteorologist James Adelot. He's still monitoring conditions along the leading edge and giving us a sense of any other remaining threat that is ongoing for parts of our viewing area. Back to you, James.
Yeah, and the good news is our rotation and debris has moved now across the state line out of Adair County. We'll watch this thunderstorm, but for now, it looks like Tulsa, the atmosphere over the metro area has been pretty worked over, so odds of anything too severe coming down just a little bit. As Mike said, no severe weather watch in effect for us. As we look into LaFleur County, we still have a fairly strong circulation that's developed now just to the southeast of Makoshi, but that is continuing to look just a little bit disorganized. It's also in LaFleur County, which is out of our coverage area too. Quick check of correlation coefficient. And again, as we look just to the south of Makoshi, it doesn't quite line up there real well, but we've got that shape again as we look at the reflectivity data. But for now, that is the main storm that we're watching. The tornado watch in effect basically along and east of US Highway 69, Bartlesville, Tulsa, Okmulgee, not included in this new tornado watch. So that's probably the best news of all. Now, I'm going to put on, as we look at radar right now, and again, the severe thunderstorms have bubbled up in northwestern Osage County. They have moved into parts of Cowley County and Kansas. We still have a couple of thunderstorms that are trying to go in parts of Osage County. We'll keep a close eye on those, also to the northwest of Tulsa. So far, things are quiet. This thunderstorm complex, you can see, has really been strong and severe, and that's helped stabilize the atmosphere quite a bit in eastern Oklahoma. We'll still watch. We still have the dry line west of us. Still could ignite another couple of isolated thunderstorms through the rest of the evening. We've got crews on the way to where we have confirmed damage and where we confirmed tornadoes on Doppler radar. We'll have full Fox 23 severe weather team coverage coming up at 9 o'clock. But for now, we will go back to programming. If a new tornado warning is issued for our coverage area, we will be right back on. Thanks for staying with us.